I'm back. Okay. Looks like I'm probably going to be alone, so I don't know how long I'm going to be on here. I know everybody's probably going to work. That's why everyone's probably asleep right now. Um, ah, a lot of crazy stuff on YouTube, man. You know, um, shoot. Ah, it's funny as it sounds. I don't really get into like a lot of the drama. I try to stay away from it. But I check out some things, I check out some people's pages and whatnot and just what goes on. Even some of the more gossipy ones, like Lovely T, who I really like, and I think she's cool. Um, really nice person, too. I think I actually met her before I even knew who she was because I was an extra in a movie. And I think I swore I remember seeing her, and I think she did tell me she was working on that movie, too. Um, But yeah, like this whole, I mean, there's all kinds of stuff going on here, man. Like from the whole like Tasha K thing, which I don't want to comment on that. I don't want to get into that. To all this stuff with Phil. I'm gonna talk about that. I think we need to talk about that. Phil from the advice um, to just of course I watched the O'Shea's Rumble Royal thing, but I'm always checking out like just different things on here. I'm kind of the wallflower of YouTube, the black heavy metal wallflower of YouTube. Uh, so Anarchy in the YouTube. It's kind of a playoff of a Sex Pistols song. I just thought I would use it as a title. But seriously, here's the thing that I'm concerned about. I wonder who's here. Who's ever here, please let yourself be known because I want to know who I'm talking with. I don't want to talk to myself. Who am I talking to right now? Please let yourself be known. Oh wait. Everybody say hi. What's up, human Cyclops? How's everything? I hope everything's good. Pretty cool name. No, just kidding. Um, the one thing that kind of trips me out, I'm gonna say this, and I know I got some backlash on Radical Home Sisters page from my views about Phil. I love Radical Home Sister. That's my homegirl. I love her. I don't care what anyone says about her. You guys should listen to her. She's cool. And she says a lot of things that need to be said. It's like we as black people, in my personal opinion, I understand why the need to define what we are is so much important. I totally get it because it seems like you don't want anyone else to define your narrative and you want to just say, "Hey, this is us." But I don't want to be to the point where I'm like, yeah, I mean, we ostracize everyone in that definition. I really have a problem with that. Um, what's up, KD? No, I'm gonna say something about Phil. I think and KD, I respect you too. Leave Phil alone. Everybody should leave Phil alone. What's up, Big Jax? I don't never know how to say your name, bro. Me and Big always kind of we bump heads, but we're cool. We're cool. That's the thing. Even if you have a different opinion, we should always be able to talk to each other. I don't consider myself. I probably am the most misfit black YouTuber on here. I don't probably fit with all the surprisingly black MGTOW, or like um, I don't know. I don't know where I fit. I just make my own. I'm kind of yeah. I'm anarchy on YouTube. Oh, that's how. Yeah, Big J triple X. Okay, right on. Uh, so here's what I have my opinion with Phil. I've heard that he had a wife, but everyone's making it seem like first of all he has a white wife. Um, the thing is, you guys, and I know this is it's hard for me. It's not hard for me to say it, but at the same time, I don't want to seem like like I'm dismissive of like racism and white supremacy, which I'm not. With Phil, I think you guys should leave him alone. That brother's been an advocate, and he talked about everyone's trying to bring up stuff that, oh, he used to do all these ratchet videos and all that. Used to. Has he been doing them in a long time? No, he hasn't. He talked about that on numerous occasions of why he stopped doing those videos. Okay, Phil did try to make it seem like she was a dark Mexican at least. I have an opinion about that too. You guys might not agree with me on this. She's Mexican, and I'll tell you this. She might be white and light skinned, but let me tell you this. I know some black Americans that'll make her look like freaking like Betty Shabazz. I'm serious. I have black American friends that, like one of my friends who actually passed, may her memory be eternal. If you saw her, you would just think that she was a regular white Irish chick. She straight had red hair, straight curly hair, not curly hair like typical black people, even though that's a variant. Like, black people are hella diverse. But this woman, she could pass for white. Even her mom got looked at her. Her mom was looked at because she was with her. Her mom's like my color. And just, I also know other, like I have a Latin friend that I grew up with. Well, I didn't grow up with her, but I taught her bass. If you guys saw her, you would just think that she was kind of like Indios, like an Indian, like native black chick. I mean, a native chick. She doesn't look technically black at all, but her dad is my color and he has the same kind of hair. Her brother looks more like her dad, you know. So for me, I've been around so many different people that could pass for other races that are black. You look at their family, you'd be surprised whether they're Latino or whether they're like regular black Americans. Let me see. She's white as hell. You know what? Some of you, I'm sure, I don't know about your relatives, but I have relatives that probably fit that same color. You guys, it's not always what you see. If you've seen some of the people that I'm talking about, you would not think that they were black. And everyone's getting on his case. But you know what, dude? That guy has been doing so much for us. And like everybody's talking so much shit about him. I think that's so bad. It's like the black witch hunt. I have a problem with that. I really have a problem with that. We really need to stop doing that for people that are advocating for us. He pushed something he claimed to be against. Don't do that. Then go on your full-on pro-black. You know what? I've listened to him. Let me finish reading the rest of the comments. Rest in peace to your friend. She was a quadroon. No, she wasn't. Both her parents were black. I mean, that's the thing, man. You never know. You never know. Now, the one girl that I'm talking, the Latin girl that I'm speaking about, she looks like she could, easily be like a native person. Her mom looks more indigenous native, but her dad was black. He's a black Colombian. And if you saw her, you would just think that she was Mexican, or something like that. But she's a Colombian. You guys never know. You never know. I have other friends, like, one of my other friends, my tax lady that I lost. If you saw her, you wouldn't think that she was black or her daughter was black. Now, if you saw the grandson, you would think he was a light-skinned black person. But she looks like Lena Horne, And it's like, you never, dude, our genes are a trip. I can't speak. Now, when I first saw Phil's wife, I thought she was a regular mestiza, mostly Indian Euro mix. But the thing is, because I've seen my friend, she looks like a mestiza. And you'd never know. You'd never know. I'm not going to deny that the woman has some black background. I don't care how light she is. Because I know people that are hella light that are black. That same kind of straight hair. But whether she is or not, I'll tell you this. What is Phil advocating for now? That's what I'm talking about. What is he advocating for now? I know you guys feel like you're betrayed, but what has he been doing, dude? He's been giving you news. He's been bringing a lot of stuff to the table that a regular news people don't. And I think it's really important that we stop witch hunting people. Seriously. Sure, you guys probably might not be for interracial dating and all that, but I'll tell you this. What is that person doing now? What is that person doing? So many of us sit up and criticize people because of just their stance on certain things. But he's not fucking going white supremacist on us at all. And he stopped doing ratchet videos because he thought that was contributing to that. Let me finish reading everything. I'm sorry. My friend was not a quadroon, by the way. Her dad was light skinned, and I think he had some Asian background, but he was a light skinned black man. And her mom was my color. And her mom actually, I think, is where the redhead came from because in her genes somewhere, she was telling us about it because they were trying to figure out. You know, her sister has red hair too, but her sister, yeah, it's crazy. And her brother is like a little bit darker than me. I was in a band with her brother, a death metal band, which I wish we would have released music. He still does music, but yeah, her mom is where the red hair came from, though. It's crazy. You know, just because in her family she had that. Genes are a trip. Let me read the rest. I'm sorry, I don't mean to. Okay, let me see. Let me see. Um, Sorry, guys. I'm catching up on your comments. Phil did try to make her seem like she was a dark Mexican at least. She's white as how I read those. She pushed something he claimed. He pushed something he claimed to be against. Don't do that, and then go full on pro black, yo. I'll address that too. Rest in peace. Yeah, I already read that. Big Big JX Triple X said I'm against. I'm also against Phil for supporting the EFF. Let's talk about that. We'll talk about that, Big J. I know you're more conservative. You probably don't really um, ride with probably him, the EFF, because of their communist stance or socialist stance. I'll say socialist. Date out, but keep the pro blackness to yourself. Don't go full hypocrite. I have something to say about that too, and it was an interesting that I saw an interesting point that on Sanchez's channel that he was talking about. Even though I don't agree with everything that he says about white supremacy, you're a night owl too. Yes, I am a night owl, Liz. How are you? I got some new subscribers. Thank you, Liz, for joining too. And of course, KD, brother KD, Big J, Triple X, all you guys. I really appreciate it. I still mess with Phil, but he did lose a lot of credibility. I understand why you guys are upset, and I'll tell you why I'm not. If you can't tell someone is black, they aren't black. I don't agree with that. I don't. And I'll tell you why I don't agree with that. Yeah, he's been writing on these folks, white folks, but he should have just came out and said he was married to a white person. No, he's not married to a white person. She's not white. And you guys are making it sound like we're going to talk about all this. I don't see black women going back to him. He's finished. I can't speak for every black woman. And he has actually black women writing for him. We rock with Paul Mooney, and he had a white wife. That's true. He shouldn't have lied. Let me tell you this. First of all, the woman is not white. If anything, most mestiza, which I thought she looks more mestiza than she does like some like blonde hair, blue eye person or even a brunette white person. She does not look white at all. She doesn't even have white features. She looks more like she could be a mestiza, like indios, you know, like in Spanish. That's what's said, you know. And there's always that mix. It's more of a mix, especially out here in LA. We have more mestizos. Now, a lot of them do identify with white. Unfortunately, a lot of them do, but not all of them. I know black Mexicans, and I also know um, mestizos. I grew up around mostly black and Mexican people. I even have Mexican family members or Latin family members. Some of them are not Mexican, but you guys. Another thing, and I said it before. You guys are saying if he doesn't look black, they're not black. I can't speak for your family members, but there are a lot of black people that I know that don't look black. I know a lot of them. It's not just a few, it's a lot of them. And technically, if you guys want to go there, what's in your background then? Obviously, now some people will take this thing, and I don't do this. Some people will say black as a construct. I don't believe that. But I'll tell you this, if we look at black history, you'd be surprised of how many people that are biracial blacks. I don't just use the term biracial. I get specific with it. Biracial blacks that we still ride with, or multiracial blacks that we still ride with. You look at a Bob Marley, people still consider him black. They don't look at we're all this revisionism and stuff. You know, I understand why. This is why I can't, like, a part of me just feels as if like Okay, I understand. We want to define blackness, but at the same time, what do you do with all the people in our history that have rode for us that, are not, I guess, fully African? None of us are really fully African. I claim myself to be African. I am of African descent. But, I look at black as this. I said this in one video. I don't look at blacks as just being in America. Now, I've gotten white supremacists, talking shit about like what black is on certain channels, and I've gone in on them too. I look at the Aita in the Philippines as black. I look at like, you know, a lot of the Moors, of course, and even certain Middle Eastern people, and even like a lot of my Coptic friends that some of not my friends, but like some people are claiming them to be white, but they look like they could be related to any black American or biracial black. Let me see. I got some new comments. Let's see what we got. Okay. If you can check white in your box, you're oops, sorry. Oops. Let me see. If you can check white in your box, you're white. I don't believe that. Let me tell you why. Arabs are dark, but they check the white box. Not all of them, and I can give you a few of them that don't. I live in Inglewood. Yeah, I'm not too far from you. These Mexicans check the white box. Yep, a lot of them do. I'm not denying that. I agree it was different. It was a different time then, but these mulattoes aren't messing with us. Oops, sorry. Aren't messing with us outside of Cap. He played himself audio. Can't erase that. Um, okay. Stick with me, you guys. I really appreciate you guys coming and talking with me. We might have opposing views, and I'll tell you why I oppose those views. And Cap is not the only biracial black person, but I do understand what you're saying. You know, it's a really crazy dynamic when you think of not only like racism but colorism. And with biracial people, it's weird. My niece, my sister brought her up. She's, biracial actually. But we got into a deep conversation. She pretty much identifies with her black side. And I'm like, well, hey, nothing's wrong with both, like, but at the same time, it's like she's going to be seen as a black woman no matter what. Now, somebody like Chrissy obviously will disagree with that. And I know a lot of people feel some way about Chrissy. I listen to Chrissy because I thought I knew what it would be, what it's like to be a dark-skinned black person, but I guess us brown-skinned black people don't experience the same thing as a lot of dark-skinned black people. I don't know, so I'm down to listen. But I'll tell you this, even with that Osaka woman, even though she has her last name as a Japanese last name, I'll give you a few examples. She's going to be looked at as a black woman. She's not going to be looked at traditionally as a Japanese woman. My niece is not going to be looked at as as Mexican in at least in mainstream, America. She's going to be looked at as a black woman or Blaxican. It's always going to be black no matter what. Biracial black. Like my friend, I have a YouTuber friend, too. She's Korean. I think I'm pretty dark skinned as well. I've always thought I was pretty dark skinned. I don't think I'm light skinned. Somebody tried to put that on me. I'm like, no. I'm as light as cinnamon, and cinnamon is dark. You know. But but from what I understand, darker skinned people go through much things different than people that are brown skinned like me. I don't know. I'm just down to listen. Like I'm black, no matter what. But getting back to what I was saying, the world is gonna see these people as black no matter what. Lenny Kravitz's mom said it best when he in the interview that Lenny Kravitz gave. He said this. He's all, my mom told me, yeah, you're biracial, but the world's gonna see you as black. So he's always identified as that. I don't like, and I understand why my niece would identify mostly as black, and I don't blame her. Culturally, she could claim both, but her dad is from, may he rest in peace, is from here. He's from LA, and it's just, yeah, I understand what you're saying, man, but you do have like some Latin cats that They don't claim white. They can't get away with that. And unfortunately, you have the white box. There's a guy, if you guys get a chance, by the name of Mustafa Hostani. Look him up. He was an Egyptian guy that came over here and basically like got pissed because he refused to identify as white, and people kept trying to make him do that, and he's all, fuck that, I am not. So he got a bunch of other Egyptians and other Africans, like probably some Ethiopians and Somalians, and got like a petition together to override that because he didn't want to identify as a white man. I mean, he looks like us. He's a black Egyptian, like most likely from Aswan or whatever. But he's like, man, I'm not white. And he got a lot of flack for that too. Look him up. His name is Mustafa Hostani. I think he has a YouTube channel, but you could look up a video on him on YouTube. Um, not everybody's claiming that. You have some people that claim that stuff because they think that it'll give them an honorary pass. But these people are coming from, some of them are from persecuted countries. I got on one of my Coptic friends because he was like, yeah, I guess I'm supposed to be labeled white. He's my color. He's actually half Egyptian and half Filipino. And I'm like, don't believe that lie. That's a lie, dude. He's, oh, kind of like, he was just like, I guess. I'm like, no, don't believe that. I have a bunch of Egyptian friends because of where, many of us African Orthodox Christians are either Egyptian, Ethiopian, or Sudanese, or like Nubians or whatever. I'm a convert, but so I don't claim any of that. I'm West African descent. All my African background is from West Africa. The further east is near the Sahel, but like, yeah, most of my stuff is West African. But I come in contact with a lot of these people, so because of just faith wise, like what I roll with. I think I'm missing some comments. I'm sorry, you guys. Oh, brother Danubian, what's up, man? What's up? What's up? What's up? Okay, let me see. I agree with you, but participation doesn't mean it's true. What do you mean by that? Games and games, Mr. Orenthal James. What do you mean by the participation part? I don't understand that. I'm sorry, brother. Didn't you? Ooh, man, this screen thing. KD84. Yes, tomatoes are fruit, but we see them as vegetables. That's a different thing than a human being, though. And a tomato cannot, when certain people have certain things in their DNA, you'd be surprised. You know, um, that's two different. I understand the metaphor, but I'm sorry, it's not going to work with this particular context because it's complex at times. As I said, I still, would see, and actually Phil did the DNA test thing that his wife is more mestiza. I was right. She does have some African background, but she's more a mestiza. Um, it's not a lot. So she's more of a mestiza because she's 60% Native American. So she is a mestiza. So I was right to begin with. But I didn't know. And when I'm just saying because I have friends that look like that, and my friend actually does. She says, "Hey, I have a lot of African background because of my dad," and she looks kind of like her dad, but her hair is like bone straight. She looks like she's more from like um, the indigenous side of South Central America. Let me see. I'm sorry. I'm gonna catch up with the comments. There's no one. Oops. Sorry. Oh man. There was one like and one dislike when I clicked on here. Smash the like button, fam. Thank you. I get a lot of I I really appreciate it. Thank you, brother Danubian. Man, and I don't even ask for people to like. Like I said, I'm kind of an anarchist when it comes to anything on YouTube. It's like, okay, free will, you have your thing to go, like. But thank you, brother Danubian. I really appreciate that. I feel so like alone on here sometimes. I'm just kidding. Oh man, perception, not participation. Um, Games, Mr. Orenthal James. That name is hilarious. Big OJ. um, Katie, I really can't just canceled my Patreon for him. Oh boy. Okay. Wow. Big OJ. I'm gonna just say that. Big game OJ, meaning just because they seem black does not make them genetically black. I'm talking about genetics though, bro. Like, I'm not just talking about seeming black. There are people, the people that I'm talking about have genetics, have black genetics, and people would be surprised, like, because of their mix, like a lot of them are mixed, or they just have, you know, maybe they have it in their, as a current mix, or in a back, how could I say this, in their history somewhere. He lied and said that she was a black Mexican. She's 67% Native American. All he had to do was just be honest. You're welcome, fam. Thank you. I'll tell you this. She's not white, so he was being honest. And if she's 60% Native American, that's not white. She has some African background too. It's not a lot, but there is some. I understand why you guys are bummed out about that. And it's like, it seems, you know, it seems like kind of, like maybe he just kind of spun another tale. But I'll tell you this, Phil's done a lot. He's done a lot. And I didn't know how his whole channel was. The reason that I started liking him is because of what I saw. I'm relatively new to all this YouTube stuff, even though I've been on here for years, not as a poster, but just more as a, like, I have like a bunch of different, if you guys look at my library list, I have like anything from music to history stuff in my libraries. That's all that I did. And then I just started blogging, within the last maybe almost 2 years. I'm not even sure when I started doing that. I have a few channels. Let's see. I knew he had a Mexican wife, but he tried to make it seem like she was dark skinned. Okay, I understand that. But here's the thing, you guys, and you guys, I understand. I'm not telling you what to do. Have you guys? And I know that there's other YouTubers that you guys go to, like myself. I don't particularly just stick to one. You guys, haven't you gotten a lot of information from the advice show that you probably wouldn't get anywhere else? Think about it. Have you gotten quite a bit of that stuff from there? Phil has, I mean, seriously, dude. I'm like this, and I know people don't agree with me when I say this. I've said it before. I don't care who you date. I don't care who you marry, just as long as you're still an advocate for us. And there has been a history of that too. People are very, I don't want to make it seem like you guys are hella xenophobic. You know, some people, like the guy that I got into it with today, and I'm trying not to argue with cats no more, dude. That's why I'm like, all right, you think that that's fine. I like when people respectfully disagree with me, just like you guys have, but there's people that'll start name calling and shit. I save the name calling for white supremacists. I don't fucking care about their feelings. um, let's see. Right, she's not white. Harvey, aka Mr. Superboy, said that the Kardashians aren't white. Yes, they are. Armenian is not a race. I mean, I'll say this: the Kardashians are white, but I mean they're the true. Actually, it's funny. Armenians actually are the truest Caucasians because they're from the Caucasus Mountains. Granted, you can call them Eurasians because they're like you know, they're not Arabs, but they kind of come from the same stock. Um, I understand why Harvey is saying that because classically, like, they're not Anglo. White is an Anglo construct, to be honest. But unfortunately, so many people have it's where you got white supremacy, and people have, I mean, once the Irish joined into that, which they made that because when the Irish weren't considered quote unquote white, they were looked down upon. And they, of course, you got some of the most vile racists that are white supremacists that are Irish now. But after the Bacon's Rebellion thing, man, I mean, I think that's when that whole thing went down. So now you have all this sort of whiteism, as T. West would say, or white tyranny. I don't mind using the term white supremacy, but I understand why people don't. Um, I call it white superiority complex. It's the same thing. But yeah, I understand why Harvey would say that because in early America they wouldn't have been considered white. You know, I'm sure a lot of Bosnians, like what was it? The Kurds probably wouldn't be considered white, but they are. You know, they're Eurasians. You know, let me see. Outside of one, KD84 says, outside of one New York cop interview, really no audio. Well, I'll tell you this. I've gotten a lot of information from Phil. We need black media. And I like the fact that most of us are all grassroots right now, and he's one of them. I know you guys feel betrayed and all that, but that dude, I'm telling you, he's an advocate. I don't care what anyone says, man. He's an advocate for us. And it's sad that so many of us are so quick to drop people that are advocates for us. I understand why you guys feel betrayed, but at the same time, I mean, how many people are you gonna drop, man? There's so many people that could disappoint you. And what are we doing? My channel, obviously, I don't really trip, like I like my subscriber list small. I'd rather have a small list of people that are cool with me that I could talk to like you and me instead of a huge bunch of cats that I have to freaking, monitor all the time because they're trolling my ass. I get trolled here. Okay, let's see. Oops, sorry. The advice show is very informative. I just wish that he didn't misrepresent his wife. I understand that. I understand that. They're just dark-haired white people. No. Dude, she's 67% Native American. They're not white. If anything, I mean, that's a whole nother category. Some people would consider them like Mongolian or whatever. It depends on the history. And plus, there are indigenous Native Americans that are us. The so-called Australoid are black people. I believe that. I don't just look at black Americans as black people. I look at like even like our black Asian friends like the Austronesians and as well as like the Aita and Samange of Thailand. All these cats are black, man. You know? That's a whole nother conversation. Gonya, what's that? Okay, long as some crazy. I'm in Long Beach, you guys. Especially the part of Long Beach I'm in, I gotta watch out. It's pretty calm over here at times. All right. Now you're just making my point. Just replace Irish with Mexican and have the same concept. No, here's the reason why I won't do that, Big OJ. Because, like America, Mexico is a mix too. Did you know that the first black president, was from Mexico? And the thing is, everybody always looks at Latin America as something different. It's only different in culture. That's the only thing. In Mexico, there's so many different races that went there, even us. I mean, the first people that settled LA where we live, I mean, a lot of them were black. They were either African descent, like directly, or they were like mulatto races. Also, they had the mestizo and also the Indios. Mexico is just as diverse as us, even though people act like Mexico is homogenous. No, unfortunately, you have some of the same racist bullcrap that we have here. Some people would even say worse. Black people there just started getting noticed on the census. So when you say Mexican, you can't just put like one race in there. And yeah, a majority of them are mestizo, but a lot of them are just, I mean, a lot of them are, it's just a mix between, Native American and European and some blacks and even a lot of Asians, like Chinese people live over there. Like a lot of people have been through Mexico and parts of Central and South America, Middle East, everybody. Of course, you have your Germans, Irish, everybody. There are Irish Mexicans. So when you're saying that, I'm like, I hear you, but it's kind of a sticky thing. You can't just say that because Mexico is hella diverse too. Let me see. All right. Brother Doomy said, I wanted to cancel him for a minute just because he seemed to ignore me when I asked to be a mod and told him I was on his Patreon, I get ignored by him. You know, a lot of YouTubers, dude. I had freaking O'Shea like get all like angry at me because I asked him, about having Jason Black on there. It wasn't even a offensive question, but he got all pissed off at me. Like I'm like, damn, you got to keep in mind this, man. Like, don't take it personal. But I'm sure he has so many different people. He has the biggest platform of a lot of black YouTubers on there. I get ignored by Tariq. I get ignored by a lot of people, but I realize these guys like they're trying to they're trying to do so much, but it's hard for them to answer so many people that are their fans or listeners. I understand that. Big OJ says whiteness isn't about skin color or genetics. It's about social power. Unfortunately, yeah, yeah, I get you on that, and it's sad, man. I say that's. I mean, whenever some white supremacist or some dude tells me there's no racism, I'm like, oh really? Why do we have to assimilate into a white structured culture? Don't lie to me. That's why I laugh at people like Jared Taylor. Out of one end, he talks about there is no white supremacy, and then on the other end, he talks about how basically like I mean, like the white man civilized everything and set up all this stuff. Really? You just basically contradicted yourself. Brother Danubian says that's like saying that Spanish conquistadors were Caucasoid. Yes, the hell they were. There's not one phenotype for Caucasoids. Yeah, yeah, It's crazy. And I mean, and I'll say the same thing for us. Now, it's weird because they'll say some Caucasoids are from East India. And it's funny, in the early 20th century, a lot of the East Indians tried to use that to basically become white, but it didn't work so well for them, even though the history of like that's supposedly like they were like prototype Caucasians but darker. So I don't know. I don't agree with that in a lot of ways, but I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. I was talking about Armenians being dark haired white people, but you can add Mexicans in there too. Not all Mexicans. Armenians, because I have, being Orthodox, they were part of our, Oriental Orthodox group. Armenians, I mean, I would say that is a race and a culture. They have their language and all that. That's their own language. I can't say that it's the same thing for Mexicans. Mexicans definitely have their culture, but Mexicans, there's also all kinds of different Mexicans. That's like saying Americans have one look. Mexico is basically South Central America, and it's so many different races in that. It was established by Spanish versus Armenians. I mean, even with their genocide, which is messed up, with them too, they've moved probably maybe a little bit, but they pretty much have been in that same regions for years. You don't if you see any Armenians like they still basically have a homeland in that sense. A lot of them might live in certain places like here and even some in Ethiopia, surprisingly, but they have their land, and they have their culture in their land. Mexico, and they never really colonized places like, a lot of Spanish and Portuguese and French. I'm glad to say that I have some Haitian ancestry, but I tripped the first time that I've met a white Haitian. I'm from here, but I didn't realize that Haiti was that diverse too. And then, of course, reading about the Haitian Revolution, like a lot of the African Haitians were cool with certain European groups that helped with the revolution, from what I understand as well. So yeah, okay. I was talking about. Let me read this. I'll keep reading. I'm sorry, y'all. I'll still watch his channel from time to time. Brother Danubian said he was talking about the Kardashians, not Phil's wife. Okay. President Vicente Guerrero, black Mexicans make a small percentage. Yeah, but there's more than you probably even think, because remember, they weren't even counted in the census till last year. I'm telling you guys, like, people are, I mean, I like what my black history teacher said. He saw slavery didn't happen the same way in Latin America than it did here. They had a lot of the blacks marry into the culture, even though they had the same crazy things going on. Versus us, it was a whole different situation. Also, my friend Danny, Puerto Rican dude, you guys would probably think he was white. Me and this brother would always talk about like Sheikh Diop and J.A. Rogers, who were my heroes. Um, he was like, man, he was the one that had me, he was dropping like knowledge saying, man, a lot of Puerto Ricans unfortunately had the worst form of slavery because it made them to deny themselves. He saw himself as a black man. And he looked like, I mean, people would probably think he would pass for white. He just looked like somebody like Thurgood Marshall or something like that, like a light-skinned brother with straight hair. See, I mean, and I have family. I mean, I know black folks like this that are not Latin. That's why I don't even trip off of, oh, there's a Latin look. No, we have the same freaking look over here at times. There's Latin cats that look like me, and I'm freaking black. I'm African looking. People thought I was freaking Belizean or Cuban, but I tell them the same thing. We're all freaking like, dude, like we're all black people. We're all from the same West African root. We just have a different colonial situation. What's up, hood mistress? That's the homie right there. Dude, hood mistress speaks perfect Spanish and Japanese, by the way. I have to say that. Oh, man. KD84, represent. Yes, yes. Represent. Man, it's cool to see all you cats out here. Wow. This is so cool. Kate 84. Either be 100% or get out of the way. Phil can't play the fence, homie. I understand why you guys feel a certain way, but I'll tell you this. Seriously, dude, like, Phil has batted for us a lot, man. I understand why everybody's upset. Maybe the word is, it seems disingenuous, if that's the perfect word to say it. But I'm still riding with Phil, dude. We got to keep up our media. It's up to you guys. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just saying, cats need to go easy on him, man. Everyone, like, I don't want to feel like I'm telling you guys what to do. I'm just telling you the reason that I'm riding with him, man. I might not even agree with somebody like Tariq all the time either, but I still roll with that cat, man, because these brothers and sisters are working hard. Nicole Views, like, Brittany, I always forget Brittany's last name. She's one of the newest ones that I've subscribed to. She's been rocking the receipts on the whole Tasha K thing, man. She cracks me up. Paris, all of them, like in Chrissy, all of our media apparatuses on here are really informative. Even if we disagree with them, we could at least take something out. I definitely don't agree with Cynthia G on a lot of things. And, she has a vendetta against black Christians, which I am, and I don't care what anyone thinks. I might not be the typical black Christian because I don't go to a Western church and I don't subscribe to any Western churches with that, but I'm not going to trip on anyone because of that. I'm cool with people like Jedi. I'm cool with like Lisa Cabrera. I don't care about their religion. These guys are representing and trying to get out some things that need to be learned in our community. Let me see. Hood Mister says there's a mention of Caucasoid Haitians in 1804 documentary too, like Polish Haitians. Yeah, and I heard that they were actually advocates in fighting for our revolution too. And from what I understand, Dessalines was cool with them, and a lot of them, were all, they were all about it. Bottom line here, Brother Danubian said, there is too damn much swirling on the earth as these lighters motherfuckers hate us. And I'm light, but I have a sense of knowing we're deluded. You know what? I'll tell you this. Swirling is not new. It's not new at all. They've been doing that since ancient times. I mean, I have to say this, but here's the thing. I understand. Sometimes I think what Francis Cress Welsing said for white people, I feel that black people have the same fear, the fear of genetic annihilation. That's very human, right? You know, I don't trip on it. Put it like this. I've said this in other videos, and I'm glad that you guys are still my friends because I've made it known of how I feel about that because of just people that I know. If the person that you're down with is an advocate for you and your people, that's cool, dude. If not, no, I want nothing to do with them. You know, if you're getting with someone because they're white, Asian, or Mexican or whatever like that, and not caring about like just that person, you know, because the whole swirling thing to me is this: you date outside of your race because those people, why? I mean, I'm sorry, those people, men or women, are better than your race. That's stupid to me. Anybody can be a freaking jerk. Me and my dad were talking about this earlier, and I've mentioned this on a video. Men and women are different enough. When you have race and culture that is different, that's a whole nother dynamic. You know, I mean, it's one thing where you have a culture, like say for example, I'm Afro American and I marry an African woman. Some people might see that as a whole cultural difference, or like an Afro Latina. That might be a total cultural difference, even though we're still black. But the whole race dynamic is even crazier because you not only have that, you have a different racial experiences. I have friends that are in interracial marriages and all that. Even one on YouTube, a few, you know, that I watch, and we talk occasionally. Um, the thing is, and even the lady that I'm talking about, she basically is always open to learn about like the black experience because her husband is black. He's not a black American. He's from Kenya, but she's expressed how she felt, and she's so open that she has like dialogues with people. You have to if you're in a relationship like that because you should be knowing you have two black kids. They're gonna notice that those kids are black before they notice that they're Asian in most cases, or white or whatever. But I'm like this: if that person's an advocate, kind of like a Grace Lee Boggs was for James Boggs, and she's down for your people or whatever, that's cool. If she's not, I'm not down with that whole Kristen Carolizon thing because it's like you're telling me that I should ignore certain things that are happening, you know? And you're saying that the grass is greener on the other side when it's just grass in general. No, you know, there's realities that have to be considered. Now, if a person respects you for who you are, that's cool. I don't mind. I don't really trip off of that. People have been swirling. I don't like to, I think there's a specific definition. I think Mr. Research even said that too when it comes to swirling because there's a whole agenda with that. But people have been mixing for thousands of years. I mean, we cannot, you know, and to be honest, the fear was basically our genes are more powerful. That's why they made the whole one drop theory, which everybody has an opinion on that. I don't even, you know, it's Angel Ramirez Jordan is a really good person to talk to about that. But yeah, that's a whole nother thing, you know. I'm sorry. I'll throw you a bone. She might be confused. She might be a confusion of face, but I doubt it. What do you mean by that, KD? Hood mistress. My Spanish actually sucks. Forgot most of it when I took French. I don't fuck with French. You're brave. I don't mess with French at all. French is the only French that I mess with is Haitian Creole, and I want to learn more of it. Not just because I have it in my background, but it sounds cool. It's like basically English, Jamaican patois, but like, you know, French or like Puerto Rican Spanish is kind of the same thing, you know. I don't mess with French though. I'm not messing with. It feels like I'm vomiting, man. Like I could not speak that language. Oh man. Oh man. What's up? What's up, Malcolm? How are you doing? Yeah, catch the replay, but still kick it with us. We're here. Hey, brother. Oh man, brother Danubian. We do have to throw. We do have. Ooh, we do throw each other away too fast, though. I don't hate Phil. Yeah, man. Let's not throw him away. That dude's an advocate. Yeah, you might feel like you feel betrayed by him because of things that he said, but Let's not throw him out, man. He's not betraying us. And I'll say this, and I know how you guys feel. I'm not trying to be. I don't have like. I'm not trying to be insensitive. But that dude, I admire a lot of black YouTubers, and see, I've only gotten a little bit. This is why I'm like, I only want the subscribers that I'm cool with. I mean, I get trolled, but not the same way a lot of these brothers and sisters get trolled. Like, I feel sorry for Phil. I feel sorry for Tariq. I even feel sorry for Cynthia G at times. You know, even though I don't agree with her on a lot of things, they get a lot of white supremacist trolls, man. It's crazy. You know, it's just mad. Totally mad. Harvey, too. I mean, poor Harvey had his fucking channel shut down so many times. And he doesn't even really do anything like that's jacked up like that, you know? Um, let me see. We're talking about Phil. Yes, we are, Mac, and we're talking about Phil. And you know, I'm not saying anything bad about Phil though, man. You know, I'm saying that for me, I still ride with him. That brother's been an advocate, and his wife seems to be an advocate, obviously. You know, I mean, a lot of people are just, oh shoot, this thing, man. I'm touching stuff, and I hope I'm not like tripping stuff out. But I understand why, like, a lot of people just feel like he kind of betrayed him because of just what he didn't was, I guess, wasn't honest about. But I guess for me, like, before I even found out she was 60%, 67%, I'm like, hey, maybe she does have some African background because I have friends that look like her that or resemble her that you'd be surprised, you know, had black background or whatever. Um, okay. Hood Mistress said, they call that intercultural relationships. Yeah. Hood Mistress, far is different than interracial. But what my point in mentioning that is there's so many differences when it comes to just you have a man and a woman. Obviously, I mean, for me, and I'm not shaming people that if you're gay, I'm not shaming that, but I don't really roll with that, and I'm not hating on you because a person might roll with that. But you get like, I'm just saying, the dynamics between a man and a woman are different. Um, as a side note, I don't hate gay people. I don't hate anybody. I don't particularly care for white supremacists, though. I'm sorry. That's probably the only thing you'll see me spit venom at. And people that hurt kids, I don't like that. I Man, I work with kids, so yeah. Anyway, um, what I'm saying is that there's a different dynamic between men and women already. You put the cultural, you go cultural, that's another thing. If you want racial, that's totally a different thing. But I'm like this too. If that person is cool with you and respects you for who you are and loves you for who you are and willing to bat for who you are, I'm not tripping on that. I'm not against that. Now, a lot of people might get mad at me because of that, but I'm not against it. And I know people like that. It might seem like a rare few, and I understand people will say, well, this is a war situation. If that person's willing to bat for you in a war, nothing's wrong with having an advocate at all. You know? Yeah. You know, even in this system there, look at John Brown. I mean, I'm not saying that's a rarity probably now, but there are people that are still like that. I mean, my thing is this. If you dig a person and they dig you and they respect you for who you are in the utmost sense of that, I don't see a problem with that. You know, I don't have a problem with that when it even comes to interracial dating or marriage or whatever, you know. And I'm not saying that I'm against black love. I'm obviously for it. Like for me, I'm like, whatever you want to do, you do it. You know, don't hate on me because, you know, I might, you know, like a black woman. You know, I'm not dating anybody to be honest right now. It's crazy out there. Nah, I mean that's a whole nother thing. You know, like people have their thing though, man. Like it's just I get people. It's weird on this YouTube thing. It's funny how like people will get mad at you for either being about black love or they'll get mad at you because you're dating interracially and the person might be cool. You know what I'm saying? Like it's for me it's like about respect. If that person respects you, you respect them. You know, like That's what I'm saying. Like I would want someone, if you were dating outside of your race and that person respected you for who you are, that's cool. To the point where they're willing to die for you. That's what I'm talking about. That's a real relationship. If they're not, kick them to the curb. Okay, let me see. Sorry, you guys, I'm getting behind on this. There's too much hostility within other groups. What do you mean by that, Malcolm? I need to know what you mean by that. I think her theory was right when she wrote it, but white people observe that a lot of mulattoes will go white, and since their birth rate is a replacement below, they understand they could use it. Wait, who are you talking about? Which theory? Oh man, I think I'm missing something, brother. Which theory did I? Oh man. Oh, you talking about Francis Cress Welsing? Well, I'm to be honest, I feel like a lot of us seem like we're in fear of genetic annihilation. You know, that's what it seems like whenever people. I hear a lot of brothers and sisters saying like, "Man, we're gonna be bled out." I'm like, "Man, I've never heard this before." Black genes to replenish themselves down the line. Our genes are very strong though too. You'd be surprised, man. That's what Phil's trying to convey in his clap back yesterday. Oh, let me see. Brother Danubian. Swirling began 6,600 years after we made Caucasoids. We rounded them up to get them away from us, and they took to the caves, and some of us hid hid some away, and that's how it began. I'm not clowning you, dude. It makes it sound like some cats were hiding toys. Or you know how like cats be hiding candy, like we're not supposed to have it. I'm not clowning you, brother, but that that just sounds funny. I'm not clowning you, but you get what I'm saying, though, right? Oh man, well man, that's a trip. My thing is, I have to fully trust that if that person who's advocating me, who's advocating for me as a black person is genuine. That's true. I understand that. Malcolm says, I've been following Phil for 6 years and I've never heard him say his wife was black or Afro Latino. If he did, someone in the chat point me out to the video. I think I remember him saying that. Yeah, I don't even know. I forgot how I even found out his wife was Mexican, but she's definitely not white. People keep saying she's white. They need to stop saying that she's not. Peace. Oh man, Rosalind, how are you? Rosalind, I was wondering, like, what is your ethnic background? Are like your name? It looks like it could either be like, are you Nigerian? Abengro, or it looks. I don't know what it looks like. It could be English or Nigerian. I've never seen that name before, but I was wondering if you're Nigerian. Thank you. I'm talking about all the tensions between Latins, Asians, and blacks ideals. Well, I'll tell you this. I understand why the tensions are. It's white supremacy, and I'm saying this. You guys probably don't know what I do. I actually work with a bunch of kids, and they're everywhere. They're all kinds of different. My old neighborhood where I grew up on the east side of Long Beach. It's the hood, and it's we got a lot of predominantly Latin and blacks, some whites in there too. And some Asians. It's a mixed group of kids, and we're collective. But in that city, and especially in the greater LA area, and I'm sure Brother OJ knows, unfortunately, we had, I mean, I don't see it as much now, but there is a lot of tensions between blacks and Mexicans because of, you know, some people would say gang stuff, but I'll be honest. A lot of, for me, I feel at times certain powers that be actually play into those things, and they, like for example, I knew a guy that was dropped off in a blood neighborhood by some cops that roughed him up. And the Bloods actually like cleaned him up and took him back to his neighborhood. The guy was actually Latin. He told me this happened when he was younger. And stuff like that. They do things, and I believe a lot of those gang wars, to be honest, are perpetuated by the powers that be, but they all play into this race shit. Racist shit. I shouldn't say that, cuz I mean race, that's what we have. But the racist stuff is unnatural. That's evil. Brother Danumian said it only takes 3 generations to bleed us out. Look at Giant and Rouse's grandchildren. Okay, but let me tell you guys this. You guys are looking at all these people dating interracially, but look at all the people that aren't. There's more people that aren't versus that are. You know? And I don't really trip off of it, dude. I don't. You know? And I understand what when you guys talk about a power thing, and some people might get mad at me for saying this, but what are we doing? What are we doing on an economic level? What are we doing on a lot of different levels? We sound like the white supremacists sometimes when we start saying stuff like this. I'll be honest. That's just my opinion. And I don't mean like, I'm not shaming you, brother. It's a concern because nobody wants to be treated like the underclass. And of course, unfortunately, you have a lot of different groups that are doing that. And I mean, I know that there's been a division between mixed black people as well as like black people that don't look as mixed. You know, it's been used as a war tactic as well. It's really crazy. I mean, I'm not denying any of that stuff. You know, so I understand why you feel the way that you do, but at the same time, there have been advocates as well. You look at a Frederick Douglass. You look at freaking. I mean, dude, within our whole history of Black history, there's a lot of freaking a lot of so-called mixed or multiracial people that have been, advocates. Even somebody like a Bob Marley. Like, look at Malcolm X, even though, yeah, he's black, his mom was half or something like that. Angela Davis. I mean, there's so many different people, like multiracial or mixed people, but we're all black folks. And they're not the only ones. There's a lot of brothers and sisters that know what's up. I'm not denying anything that you're saying, though. People will say that about Grace Jones' grandkids and stuff too, but that's them. What are you doing? What are we doing? You know? And like I said, I don't trip off of that as much. It's crazy, the whole situation. I have family members that are of a mixed black you know mix as well. I don't hate on that though. I'm not hating on them because they know themselves. You know. Let me. I'm quite familiar with the east side of Long Beach. Yeah, you know where I'm from. As Snoop Dogg says, east side till I die. I don't know why all the east side hoods are crazy, dude. East side of Long Beach is a lot better than it was. But man, in the 80s when I was coming up, whoo! Didn't want to mess with the east side. It's always the east side though, man. Like everybody, the east side is the craziest, man. The east side of South Central, east side of Long Beach, East LA, all of them are just mad. Those are the straight hoods. Okay, let me see. Oh, I'm good, brother. Rosalind says, my husband is Igbo. Yeah, see, I know Nigerian. And from Nigeria, my married last name. Right on. Dude, I be tripping Nigerians out because I'll point them out like, and I think I look more Nigerian to be honest. I actually do have that in my background. I did a blood sample test. But They're like, how do you know? I was like, I know. I have powers. No, I mean they trip out when you figure out Africans trip out when like black Americans know like the ethnicities and the cultures. I go to an Ethiopian church and sometimes people if I don't say anything, some of the older women are like, "Whoa, are you from?" I'm like, "No, I'm not from there. I only know like a few words." But some people are surprised, and even if I spoke a little bit of Amariña to certain people on the street, they're like, "Whoa!" They kind of trip out, Like I'm obviously not Ethiopian, but then of course you have some cats. I mean, you trip out. Even when I mention like, I'm like, I ask, "Are you Igbo or Yoruba?" Like, how do you know about that? They think a lot of Afro Americans don't really know about Africans. That's our root. I think a lot of brothers and sisters, even though, yeah, I've heard a lot of crazy things about Africans and African Americans not digging each other. I've experienced a very little of that kind of tension. Um, but it's always, they get impressed when we know about, them. Makim, I'm from SoCal, so I get it. I'm just saying that it's really sad that we can't come to some common ground. Yeah, I understand that. I feel like the group that I work with, to some degree, it's kind of but then I'm working in the context of music. Music is always an open forum, and I've used that actually to talk about certain issues. You know, I think with us black people, sometimes we feel like as if we just kind of always work with everyone else, but we never work on ourselves. So a lot of us now are feeling that we need to work on ourselves. That's why you have people advocating for more black separatism, which I don't. I don't go to black separatism. I don't believe in that. I think that's a step backwards. What we should be talking about is black autonomy. No, I don't believe in separatism. That's a step backwards. Black autonomy says a lot because it's more of basically saying, hey, I want my right to move around and also just be how can I say it? Relying on self to get ourselves together. That's what black autonomy is. Versus, why would I go back to separatism and have the same power dynamics that was fought against? Because the power would not be in our favor. It won't. We can see so many different examples of that. Even in LA, for you guys that are from Southern California, me and someone were talking about this. When a lot of the white flight happened, they left, you know, they totally like left a lot of things bankrupt in a lot of ways. They took a lot of the resources from that. But in us trying to get loans, we couldn't do it because they were barring us from that. So we couldn't really build the resources in a lot of those places that they left. But it's very sticky and tricky, man. But no, I don't believe in black separatism. I believe in black autonomy. And you can do that even in the state that you're in, like so-called integration, which some people would argue is sort of de facto segregation to some degree. I don't know. It kind of is. I mean, that won't work. What part of Southern California are you from, Makim? The tensions, oh, brother OJ says, the tensions is from the Mexicans, though. When the blacks were a majority, everything was cool. I've heard so many different stories because occasionally I'll go on I used to go on streetgangs.com, and then I've seen all these arguments like, oh man, the blacks were terrorizing the Mexicans. I don't know what happened. I grew up with both. So, but I think with like a lot of the Mexican dynamic, it's definitely racial. And I mean, to the point where they're writing nigger killer on the wall. I mean, at least it seems like a lot of things have cooled down though, and like it's crazy. Like, I think that it's definitely more racial than it was with us, like, because I mean, back in the 80s too, like, I don't know if you remember this, OJ, there are blacks in Mexican gangs and there are Crips in Mexican gangs. I'm sorry, Crips that were Mexican. I knew some of them from Long Beach, like it was pretty mixed back then, even though certain gangs had a majority of demographics, But I can actually tell you guys that I grew up in an era where I knew, blacks that were kind of like riding the cholo thing going on or essay thing going on, and I knew Mexicans that were either, well, mostly Crips, you know, and of course, obviously, there's a majority of whatever in those gangs. It wasn't, I think, that wasn't like a line in the sand until way later, probably the 90s. Correct me if I'm wrong, OJ. And I didn't really know, I mean, because I never really got into the gang thing, but I knew people that were into that stuff. I'm sorry, I'm like, Rosalind, I'm originally born and raised in New York. Oh, shoot. What part of New York, Rosie? I got people out there too. Most of them are Muslims. I talked to them maybe like years ago. I need to go out there. And then my aunt lives in New York too. But that's a great point, Big OJ. Other groups could come out here. Other groups come here and they get propped up by the white supremacists and they buy into it too. Yep, I've experienced that. I've had certain, I hate to say it, even certain Mexicans kind of try to play that on me, in certain places like workplaces, as if like, oh, I'm hard working and you blacks are lazy. And I just like, really? Are you really saying that? Like in so many, I mean, they didn't blatantly say it, but it was just sort of like that's what that is. I've heard that on numerous occasions, or but I'll tell you this, a lot of them definitely, I'm sure that I've talked to a lot of them and they've gotten discriminated against, and it's like, hey, now you see what I'm talking about. You can't just say that you're over me. Like it's crazy, dude. Like just to think about these dynamics and how these white supremacists will play people at each other. Now there's a lot of Latin cats that I know that definitely knows what's going on, and they are totally against that. A lot of people have been saying, and I understand why cats say it, the whole hold your nuts thing. I understand all that, but I'll tell you this: I'm not gonna, I'm not going to shun away people that are fighting for me that are of a different race. I know people like this that are active like that, and you know, I can't say that there might not be a total brown black alliance or whatever, but there's people that are in solidarity movements though too. They may be small, but there are some. My group, if you want to call it that, is one of those. And I mean, these guys, like guys and girls, because it's not just guys. You know, it's something to keep cats out of trouble, pretty much. And a lot of these guys are forming their own groups to do what they can. You know, I'm probably not like some crazy, dude, well, or some like major superhero, but I think it's something, something to do whatever. Let me go on. Sorry, you guys, I'm gonna catch up on the reading. But you can't compare mulattoes of the past to these dudes today. That's an interesting point. That's a very interesting point. I have friends that are mulattoes that are down, but I can't speak for every mulatto out there. You know, my great Rosalind says my grandbaby. You have a grandbaby? You don't even look like a grandma. My grandbaby from my daughter is black, and her father is mixed, and his mother is white, and his father is black. Yeah, I see. I mean, like I have a bunch of cats in my fam. Like my thing is this: if she loves you, if that person loves you enough to die for you, that's where it's cool. And I understand why you guys probably some of you guys probably don't trust that. My thing is this: if that person loves you to die for you, I don't care if they are the same race or they're not. That's a rider right there. If I'm with some woman like that, that's what I want, man. You know, somebody that'll ride for me. Like you gotta. I don't know how you guys' relationship is or whatever, but I'm sure whoever you guys are with, you love them, and that's so cool. And they love you, and they're willing to ride and die for you. You know what I'm saying? East is where the poor people live. Wow, yeah, unfortunately. Shoot, yeah, the east side is always grimy, dude. I mean, you got everybody talking about the east side, man. Like, hey, yo, the east side, even when you talk about gangs, man, that's where some of the most fierce gangs came from, too. Shoot, you got, like, I mean, man, yeah, you know what I'm talking about, man. Then they spread to the west. Hey, Jay, like, did you ever live on the east side of anywhere in LA? I lived over on the east side of Long Beach in the 80s, man. It was crazy over there. Rosalind says, I didn't know 3 years ago that my grandfather from her father was white. Yeah, some stuff is a trip, man. I laugh at some of the pictures that my mom have of these like black black Native American people, and some of them, I'm sure that they have some white Irish background. It's just funny though, man. Yeah, man, Watts can be crazy. I lived in South Central on the west side. Yeah, shoot, freaking Watts up. You can tell a Nigerian because they're usually running scared. I didn't say that. I'll let you. Oh man. I don't know much. I've heard about that, but I don't know all. You know more than I do. But I'll tell you this. Check this out. You guys, if you've never had Nigerian food, you need to have some Nigerian food. You need some Nigerian food in your life. You'll get full for days, dude. Eating all that freaking aguse and like um oh my gosh, fufu. Man, you want to get fat? You need to eat that, dude. Like you'll fall asleep. You have the itis for days, homie. Seriously. I think we know that they call us akatas. Wait, I think we don't know that. Oh, I'm sorry. James says this. They think that we don't know that they call us cicadas. Oh yeah, yeah, I know what that means. That's an insult. Sorry, you guys. My mustache is attacking my nose. Um, who the hell is this cat, man? Riding around at 12 midnight. What the hell? These cats, man. I'm some freaking tweakers over here or something. Um, yeah, I'm not down with that Akata BS. I'm not no bloody Akata. You calling somebody that's possibly from your freaking homeland a freaking wild animal, really? Calling it at night, everyone. Gotta pay bills, good night, and grand rising. All right, hood mistress, thank you. You rock madness, my friend. Thanks a lot. Peace. Big OJ. Big game OJ. Yeah, your name is funny. Ooh, we have to separate somewhat because black people's minds will always get messed up hanging with other races. I'm like this. Black people need to practice autonomy. You can't, I mean, like, it's hard to like, I mean, the only way that you can do that, I won't call it separation, I'll call it autonomy. It's basically be up on your own game, you know? Yeah, we have to heal, and everybody has their own thing. A lot of groups are pretty much autonomous from the society at times because they're dealing with their own stuff. We need to be like that as a group. Our history is so different here too, and it's a trip. But yeah, I believe that we need to build within ourselves as well. But I don't agree with I can't ride with separatism. It doesn't make sense to me. Even though I understand what you mean by it, I'm an autonomous. I believe in autonomy, and autonomy always it always presupposes freedom in so many different ways. I practice autonomy within my group in a sense to build ourselves and have self-determination, but I also practice autonomy outside to go where I want to go, be where I want to be, and exert that same freedom. That's what the civil rights movement was about. People keep pissing on the civil rights movement. I have a problem with that. I'm not going to piss on something that I was not in. And I have my family come in. I mean, like, just So many black people were beaten and tortured over that. So I that's what I give my hats off to the movements before for that, and they're a stepping stone to now. We have a lot of things that we've gained from that to where we can, you know, take it upon ourselves to practice that autonomy and teach ourselves. Other societies, if other races in America do that, they do it without even, because they a lot of you get a lot of these people. We've been the people over here longer than anyone. You have people come over as a group, but not the same way that we did. They function within, even like a lot of the newer Africans do the same thing. They function within a group to build themselves up. Unfortunately, assimilation is one thing too. Um, we should be able to know not only certain things about all culture, but also the cultures around us to navigate where we are and where we should be. I don't want to become a xenophobic person that's just scared of everything. If we grow within ourselves, we take that within ourselves to grow and build within ourselves. We don't have to have such a xenophobic attitude. That's where I'm coming from. Okay, we're the only group that compartmentalize friends and social. We're the only group that can't compartmentalize friends and social enemies. Explain what you mean by that. Even though I think I know what you mean by that, I'd love you to explain that. There are a lot of people from Africa that scams. Oh man, I'm not saying anything. You guys know more about that than I do. Even though I've heard about that. Big OG, yeah, blacks stopped letting Mexicans in because of all the racism from Mexicans. That's crazy. Sorry guys. Ah, my hair is. Yeah, it's sad, man. Yeah, I know. I've heard about like certain gangs. I don't need to mention them that basically put an edict out to kick the blacks out of those gangs. Not all of them did, but a majority of them did. Funny thing, there's one gang that's notorious for that racial stuff on the east side of South Central that the only people that I've ever met, most of them were black. One's a black Puerto Rican dude, and the other one was Blaxican. Um, and I probably met one mestizo-looking Mexican dude from there, and they were cool. I mean, when I met them, everything was cool. But that's ironic. I don't know if they all bang anymore, but at least I know my one Puerto Rican friend does. Excuse me, guys. Hold on. But yeah, it's crazy, man. That whole situation's mad. There's a lot of good people from Nigeria also. Big OG. I was born in '88 though. Man, you guys got me looking old. I remember the year that you were born, man. I started playing bass that year. I was in the 7th grade. Oh, are you from Buffalo? Oh shoot, upstate. 30 minutes to Canada. Man, I'm living a fairy tale now. wait, Fayetteville now. I've never even heard of that place. That's Fayette. I cannot even say it. Shame on me. I speak better Japanese than English sometimes. You're trying to look for a needle in a haystack. No, I'm not looking for that at all. I'm just saying, like, that's what it was back then. I know it's different now. It's way different. And everything is more racialized when it comes to that particular subject matter than it was then. It's really messed up. I'm just saying how it was back then. Now it's nothing like that, from what I understand. I know that everyone says that. Brother Denubian said, bump that. I'm a black separatist. I'm not shaming you for it. I'm just telling you the reason that I'm not. I'm a black autonomous. Call me an anarchist if you want. That's some anarchist lingo, but I understand. And even there are other black people. Check out the Black Autonomy Federation channel, and they kind of explain. You'll understand a little bit where I'm coming from, even though I kind of use it outside of the political context that they might, and I do sympathize with some of the things that they say. A lot of Panthers are kind of on the older Panthers kind of have the same outlook that I do when it comes to black autonomy. Um, you know, I forgot. Oh man, how could I forget the one brother's name? But yeah, there's a bunch of older Panthers. I mean, if you look up Panther anarchist, you'll probably see it. I don't claim any political ideology because I'm a political agnostic, which means I don't know and I don't trust politics. I believe in black power and black autonomy, and I have my spiritual beliefs too with that. But anyway, bunk that I'm a black separatist. That doesn't mean I'll never see other races. It means empower we empowerment. Oh man, we ooh when they start tripping and we're not powerless, it's not natural for a bunch of different races. I mean people act like America is a new experience when it's not. We've had, the Persian Empire was pretty much like what America is now, really, from what I understand by history. It's very diverse. It's not the only, we had a lot of different histories like that. But for the most part, I believe in black autonomy. I understand, and black autonomy is self determination. Without relying on the government or anything like that. To be different, it's not natural for a bunch of. I don't know what is. How could I say this? I maybe because I grew up around so many different races. Um, Along with my black race, I can't say that. You know. And it really depends too, but I think it's definitely something that is a test of time. At times, I think it's kind of a trip to think that we all have to be at each other's throat. I think that there can be a common ground, but at the same time, I don't think that I don't think we should ignore if we're a bunch of different races in one place. We should ignore each other's plight. I tell people this all the time. Even people that I know that are white in other races. I'm like, our plight is different from most people in America. There's no way that you could understand, the black experience, you know, unless you hear it. Even if you hear it from a black person, you cannot understand it because you don't have the same plight as us. Okay, so my grandbaby is 75% black. Oh yeah, man, Rosie. A lot of us, we're yeah, we got a lot of percentage of African, but people are surprised with what else they have. Like they're like, "What? I got this." Some people are bummed out that they don't find, the Native American thing in there, and it's just white. I don't mean to clown those cats, but it's funny. Just like, man, I thought I was just like black and Native American. No, homie. Unfortunately, yeah, you have that situation. Yeah, I used to live in Watts. Oh shoot, where at in Watts, Big OJ? Man, that's a trip. Not all Nigerians. Yeah, I said not all Nigerians. People think Afro Americans are kind of crazy too. That's why I'm like, I really try not to do that with everybody. I really judge people on an individual basis, because I know how it is to be judged as a black man. Also to be judged as, sort of a punk rocker, even among my own people. But I don't hold it against, our peeps. I know the history of why at times we kind of harden each other. Rosalind, Africa is a beautiful place. I plan to travel to other countries in Africa. Wow, so you've been there. I want to go to Africa. I've actually, man, it's funny. I go to an Ethiopian church and someone told me, hey, if you go over there, man, you should go over when we're going over. So I have that connection already. But I would love to go to like Nigeria and Senegal too. Where did you go? I'm curious. I'm down with the black diaspora worldwide. So am I. I would consider myself a Pan Africanist, or just a black, dis, diaspora cat myself. Even blacks in Asia, I think we need to be solid with them too, because they're treated like really bad as well. And a lot of them are indigenous. We built America. Yes, we did. Heck yeah, we did, man. I usually, man, brother OJ might get what I'm saying. I'll put usually when I put the K, the three Ks, I'll either put an X or a K in the back of it. I'm sure brother OJ knows what I mean by that. Yeah, we built it for devils. But you know what? That's Claude Anderson. Claude Anderson's a trip. Claude Anderson's all about getting the bag, man. We may have built it for them, but the thing is, it's ours. That's our stuff, dude. That's our freaking ancestors' blood. That's our stuff. We built that. We built so much of it. We have to take the piece of the pie. Forget asking for that. Fuck that, dude. No, that's ours. Big OG, meaning black people don't understand that someone can be your friend but not have the best interest in your group in mind. We think if someone is our friend, they love all black people. Yeah, I understand that. That's unfortunate. I understand what you mean, you know. Because I think we're naturally friendly people. I don't care what fucking Jared Taylor says. He can go and seriously eat freaking like jelly beans and sand. That guy's an idiot. Black people are peaceful by nature. And a lot of us are very friendly. We're really open and hospitable to people. But unfortunately, people play off of this Machiavellian concept where I got to get that person or try to screw that person before they do something to me. Or even if they don't, I just got to screw that person to get theirs. White supremacy is definitely that. It's not fair at all. It's totally has that whole Machiavellian bull crap, social Darwinistic bullshit ideology. I hate it. Okay, let me see. Rosalind said the African was here at the same time as the Native American was here. But I also heard that Native Americans were originally black. So two sides of that story. Yeah. Many I know about the situation. I mean, I'm sorry, situation. The story of Mali and how Mansa Musa sent his brother or something over to America. But yes, people. It's funny. The original. I met a guy that actually has mostly, the Australoidic black genes. And so for people that's saying that there's no black people over here like that, yes, there are. I have a friend that's like that. I have some Native American background. I don't know how much. I didn't get that when I had my DNA test, but I know like some of my family has that. Based on pictures that I've seen of some of my relatives, which is a trip. But yeah, they're a lot of the so-called Australoid American people over here. Those are black. I don't care what anyone says. They're the same black people that are in the Aborigines and they get discriminated against. Those were supposedly the black people that existed here before. Um, and it's funny, you got these white supremacists will talk about, oh, certain people don't have Negroid features, but then when we bring up this Luthia or the bones found over here, well, they're not the kind of Negroid features that are regular African black, and I just laugh. There's always some situational bullshit with these idiots. So yeah, there were black people over here before even the so-called Mongoloid came over. All right. So there is two sides. Malcolm says people talk about black and Latin gangs. Hell, you might have a segment of Chinese and Russian syndicates that are ruthless. Oh yeah, it's funny. I don't speak on that much, but yes. Oh yeah, and then don't forget, there's some Italian. Don't think that the Italian mafia went away too. They're still here. I'm sure they are. But yeah, the thing about those gangs that you mentioned, they don't function like street gangs. They are ruthless. They're very ruthless. They function in secret too, and they do a lot of underground stuff. Some of the stuff that I've read, I'm like, wow, dude. Street gangs don't operate like that. I mean, you have maybe one Mexican gang that kind of operates like that. You guys know who I'm talking about, but the Chinese and Russian groups like that, syndicates, they're definitely like, yeah, dude, like that's, I mean, people call it underground crime or just, you don't hear about what they do because it's not on the streets. They don't even need to tag things up. They just have their whole businesses and just, I've read stories about certain things that they've done. I'm like, man, that's crazy. And some of like those one of like some of those Chinese gangs are like some of the oldest too. It's crazy. Rosalind says Fort Bragg, North Carolina? Huh. Am I getting that right? North Carolina? Oh wow, I didn't know he was from there. That's funny. Rosalind says if politicians ain't signing no agreement for black people's causes, they can count my vote out. Yeah, we definitely, as black people, need to be more vocal about that. That's a part of black autonomy. No more people of color. I'm not a person of color. I'm black. Address me as that. Kamala Harris and all of her BS. You know, these people think that they could ride this whole liberal thing. Like, it's just, I'm not a conservative or a liberal. I've told you guys I'm a political agnostic. But you got some of these liberals that'll ride that shit just for votes. No, address me as a black person. What are you going to do for my community? What are you going to do for me? What are you going to do about these fucking race soldiers that are killing us? That's what I'm talking about. You're right. Yeah, unless they talk specifically about us instead of benign neglecting us, I don't want nothing to do with them. Malcolm, the Native Americans we know that are here in the Americas for hundreds of years ago were Asians. Yes, they were. That's why I said the so-called Mongoloid, because I have the question, Malcolm, and the term Asian is kind of a trip when you think about it. I mean, I don't use the term Oriental. Even that's another thing too. It's so weird how like everything is just kind of changed. I don't know if even the term Asian even meant the same thing thousands of years ago as it does now, because certain Middle Eastern people were considered Asian. You know, like a lot of people from like Kazakhstan, obviously, but more even people from Saudi Arabia. You know, like they're still considered Asians, or no, they're considered Middle Eastern now, but they were considered Asians back then. And I'm just curious, what do you think about even the term mongoloid? That seems like such like some kind of white evolutionary term or something. What do you think about that? Especially, um, I'm curious about that. You also had smaller groups of tribes from Africa, but those were in the minority. Interesting. Big OJ says I grew up skateboarding with Mexicans and other non-black people, but I understand just because they're cool with me doesn't mean that they care about other blacks. I understand. Like I've, how could I say this? I've grown up around so many different kinds, you know. But man, and even was in bands with certain white people, you know, and have had some arguments and conversations with some. Now it's funny. I was in a band um, of certain white people from a different area than where I grew up, and so they had no idea. But then the other band that I was in, it was a mixed band. Even the white person in that band, you know, I'm not saying he understood what it was to be black, but at the same time, like I felt more at ease because we all grew up around kind of like in those kind of same neighborhoods, you know, like we all just kind of had like it was like a little bit easier to deal with that. So I understand the different dynamics, you know, even among certain white people too. Like I'm speaking as a person that grew up around so many different kinds of people, literally. And I'm not ignoring what you're saying because when it comes down to it, you know, like I keep myself like even on my other social media, people know about what I'm into, you know, like they know my views on certain things and I'm very candid about it. I've had debates. I've had people like, wow, you know, I've never heard that. I'm really informed about it. But my thing is this: I want to get that understanding. I want people to understand. People, I believe that I'm in an environment where, hey, we're here, you know, and if you really want to get along with us, you need to hear us out, hear voices that you don't normally listen to. Even among those people that are not black, that's, as far as they go, that's what I mean. You know, there are gangs in every ethnic group. Oh yeah, definitely. I lived in the Imperial Courts. I grew up mostly in Gardena with my grandfather, but my mother lived in the Imperial Courts for a little bit. Man, Gardena, man. Yeah, Gardena got shoot, they got the shotguns and like the paybacks. Man, wow. Sometimes I go to Gardena, man, off of Redondo, like, oh, there's a Thrifties over there or Rite Aid over there. Sometimes I'll roll over there. Man, Gardena's a trip. The funny thing about Gardena is a lot of people don't know. At one point, it was predominantly Japanese and Black American. Like it just, and you could still see a bit of that dynamic, but it's like I remember that, man. It's a trip. Brother Danubian, I'd like to see a bunch of beautiful black communities. I'd like to see, like I see white ones. We love everyone else before loving ourselves and almost have a heart attack at the thought of a black planet. Oh, I can't say that for all black people. And to be honest, I support, you know, like where I live, like obviously it's not a lot, like as far as pockets, but the ones that in LA, like Lamert Park and Hood Mistress knows this. I'm sure Big OJ knows this. I go over there, like, and it's cool, like just to see blacks of the diaspora. There's all kinds of different black folk over there. We're all kicking it, like Black Latin, Black Caribbean, Black Americans, I mean, Black Africans. I mean, we're all over the place, man. Like you go to Lamert Park on any Sunday, you'll see that. I support like a lot of the black owned businesses too. That's the way of making that community. Autonomy is like this, dude. You basically are about self-determination. And with that self-determination, to be honest, it's like you support, I mean, it's your choice to support your own. I choose to, you know. Yeah, I go to other businesses and all that, but I make it a point to support my own a lot, you know. So, I mean, the only way to make the community is to support the communities that's there and the businesses that you're there and to get the word about them. And even have other people. People act like, I'm sure a lot of Asians and Europeans are not turning away black customers, at least, you know, when it comes to buying. So we have to be the same way. Some people might think, well, we don't want certain people to come in, but you got to generate that money somehow, you know, and not be so xenophobic in that regard. Business is business. Business does not care about what race, the person is that's buying your stuff. If a person from a different, if a person is white and wants to spend money at your location or that black business, let them. That's more money for you, you know? Oh, Big OJ says, haha, whacking out the white supremacy. You know what I'm talking about. And of course, it starts with ideology. But yeah, whenever you see that, people probably think I'm misspelling. But people that know, they know. I don't have to X a C or a B out. I don't do that. Get rid of that ideology of the WS. That's not cool. Rosalind, Brother Nubian, you're right. Some of us want Whitey to stay here, but Allah is ready to remove them. They were put here for a specific reason. It's not to love on us or perpetually cohabitate with us. Makim says, true, don't forget the Melanesians of Papua New Guinea. Oh yeah, lots of black Asians. Sorry. Oh, sorry, you guys. I got hair up on it. This is what happens when I don't know how many of you guys have beards. I assume Brother Danubian has a beard. But man, my mustache be like trying to attack my nose. I'm like, oh, man. Me, oh, okay. Oh man, that was it. Yeah. Sorry about that. Yeah, yeah. There's a lot of in Papua New Guinea. You got brothers with naturals, big old giant naturals, man. Like and dark black skin too. Some Indonesian brothers are like that over there as well. Brother Danubian, Malcolm, I agree. Many of us think that that there were millions of us here already, but I would say it was in the thousands. See, I don't know, but like I knew that we were over here, but I don't know the numbers to be honest. I'm listening to y'all. Malcolm, I recently stopped using that term because it was made aware to me by a black person that it was offensive. Oh, the term mongoloid? Yeah, it sounds offensive. It sounds horrible. Yeah, if you're talking about the word mongoloid, yeah. Devo wrote. I'm in. You guys know I'm in the punk rock. Devo wrote a song called Mongoloid. I'm like, it ain't even like what the heck, Like it was. I don't know what the heck that meant. Asian is a broad phrase, which is why I personally use it because I'm mixed three, with all three regions. Yeah, I was wondering, like, I was trying to figure it out. I'm like, I wonder if you were Filipina, and a lot of Filipinas are mixed too. That's a hella mix. I've had Filipino friends tell me, well, I'm German and Filipino, or I'm this Spanish. But, obviously, I mean, I'm seeing more of the Malay kind of like look, like, I mean, I'm not going to deny what they are, but I'm like, Filipinos are all mixed, like, so what is your mix? I mean, do you have like some Uzbekistani type, a mixture as well? And of course, yeah, man. Like what's her name? How could Brittany? I always forget Brittany's last name that she goes by. Brittany herself, she's Black American, but as I say, all Black Americans are mixed. She herself has a lot of like that kind of Asian in her background, like that Uzbekistan, Kazakhstan. Kind of funny, man. Like a lot of Black people have a lot of different things in their background, but we're predominantly African. And she says that she is, she's all I'm of African descent mostly, but this is some of the things in my background that I'm surprised that I even have. Um, man, and she's like my color, like looks like some of my people with the Asiatic eyes. I don't have that. Some of the people in my family have those kind of like, slanted eyes. Black people have slanted eyes too. Look at the freaking Khoisan, man. I said it right. Khoisan. Okay. Mongoloid low key means Big OJ says Mongoloid low key means you have Down syndrome. That's fucked, man. I knew it was something bad. White folks sneak white folks sneak this everything they do. Yeah, it's white supremacist bullshit. Mongoloid. What the fuck? I knew it was something. The term Negroid, I've always had a problem. Well, it means black. No, motherfucker, it means something bad. You know, of course, there's Caucasoids, then there's the Mongoloid and the Negroid genes. Well, the Negroid, man, I don't call myself a damn Negroid, dude. I'm black. I'm a black man. Some people have a problem with that term too. I don't have a problem with that. I'm of African descent, you know, shoot, like, yeah. Malcolm says, I grew up in Alabama and in the Alabama area, and it's more Asian now than decades ago. Dang. What part of Alabama? My dad's from Alabama. Oh hell, there's hella Japanese in Torrance. Lots of Japanese in Torrance. It's still the same way, kinda. Japanese live closer to Torrance. Blacks live closer to LA and Hawthorne. Yep, that's true. Yeah, I'm not people of colors. No, no, not people of color. I'm black. Cause they always try to do this thing where they try to address us all as one group. No, dude, that's like a doctor basically says, "Oh, like you have a disease," and they just give, like what kind of disease? Not I don't not to say that races are a disease. I'm just saying when you're addressing somebody politically, you got to address that person for what's good for them. And some people, so-called people of color, some of them are not people of color, but so-called people of color, it's a deception thing. It's a deflection to get away from what black people are really facing. So a lot of brothers, I'm glad brothers and sisters are really being outspoken about that these days. Malcolm said, I did a DNA test result video on my channel if anyone's interested. Yeah, to be honest, I thought that you were a Hapa. And people, I wish Tariq would stop using that word just for whites and Asians because they're black Hapas too. Hapa just means half. I speak a little bit of Japanese myself, and I learned that because I mean, there are half Japanese people of all different races, not just white and Asian. There's black Hapas too. It's not, and it doesn't. It's not just specifically for Asians. That's mostly for just Japanese and whatever mix they are. You know, I was just saying I don't use people of color. Oh, I knew what you were saying. No, I knew exactly what you were saying. No, that wasn't on you. That was on just what people want to rock in general, like when it comes to us. Yeah, man. Shoot. Yeah, that stuff it's a trip, man. I really they call that blazing. Yeah. I don't know if you're familiar with Lily Petals. Her kids are blazing. Little Dasomi and Yuri. They crack me up, man. I've had my students do songs for their birthday. And like it's cool with that channel, even though it's more lighthearted. She talks about some of these issues, and speaks on it as a person learning because she has a black husband, you know. I think that's cool. Kablo, hell no. Yeah, Kablasian, really? Tiger Woods, yeah, his ass got marked black. They called him a nigga real quick. I don't even use that. I don't even like using the N word like that. I don't do that. But that's what I'm saying. Like, just the cops, just like, nah, you're the N word basically. They didn't care. They marked us behind like what he is. Like again, it goes back to what I'm saying. No matter how mixed you are, you're gonna be seen as black no matter what. Seriously. My mustache is like my mustache is wild, dude. Like it's a straight up wild mustache. I think I don't know how like I got a hole in my mustache, dude. I didn't even cut it, yo. Look at this, y'all. Dude, I haven't seen my face in like 4 years, homie. Dang, man, what's up with my stash, dude? I don't know, like what bit? I think I was chewing on my stash or something. Ah, mm. I know I'm not the only beard, brother. The Nubian. I keep thinking that you have a beard, man. He said Kablasian, and that cop said, "Okay, check the black box." He did. Yeah, case in point. Even if you're a mixed breed person like that, sorry, they ain't gonna see you as white or Asian. They're gonna see you as black. They're gonna call you the N word. And even if you were half Asian, they might throw in a few other things too. But yeah, homie. Mm-hmm. Yep. Kablasian. That's hilarious, dude. I'm like, how you just gonna make okay, whatever. Most black people, the funny thing is most black people have all kinds of different things in them. That's a typical, especially black Americans. Like, and it doesn't mean that, oh, I'm not going to call myself mixed. I'm black. That's typical. I mean, and a lot of blacks don't like being called African. I don't mind it. That's what I am. I'm of African descent. Um, African or black, like, but most of the black Americans I know, they don't want to be called African. You know, they just feel, well, hey, I'm here from here, but I don't have a problem with that. I am what I am. Mm. I wish I could make faces at everybody. Blah, blah. Just kidding. You guys ever do that with babies? They look at you like you're crazy. Like, what is this kid? Or they just laugh. Oh, oh yeah, man. I totally got the Isaac Hayes beard, man. This dude named Vegas MGTOW that calls me midget Kimbo because I'm short and I kind of resemble Kimbo Slice. I get all kinds of people, man. I got Kimbo Slice. I got, if you guys have ever heard the band Death Grips, it's a really crazy abrasive sort of punk hip hop group, and people think I look like MC Ride. Yeah. Vegas MGTOW. I'm not a MGTOW cat. I think we met debating on Irene. What's her last name? I forget. Irene Yvonne's page. But we're cool. We made it reasonable. We're kind of antagonizing each other, but then it became more of a chill conversation after that. But he calls me that. I just laugh every time he says it. It's funny. Yeah, Yvonne Yvette on her infamous video about MGTOW. People were so. I think she was misunderstood on that video. She's not a feminist, dude. Totally not a feminist. But they were so mad at her for that video. And, like, I actually, oh man, I probably shouldn't have said anything on that video. But like, I was just like, because I don't really ride with those cats. But I understand why that movement. I just don't understand why like certain black people follow that. Because for me, when I first heard of that, it just seemed like some kind of white supremacist angry man movement, like those MRA dudes. But I'm not gonna hate on brothers for that. Oh, that okay, OJ. See, I was saying stuff like that. One guy was like laughing at me because he says, "Oh, you sound like a white boy, like you don't get no bitches." And I'm like, "Why would I told him, why would I want somebody like you in the first place?" I always have to clap back. You know? But Vegas was cool though. Vegas, we're chatting it up, and he was just open about some stuff, and he was actually pretty cool. O'Shea is funny. Obsidian. I didn't know much. I've heard about him from that Sophia Nelson chick, and I didn't really know much about him. Then after I heard that video that Radical Home Goddess did a video on it, and then I checked it out. This fool, and I still ask the question for him. Do you think Jared Taylor is going to see you as just, I mean, Jared Taylor is going to look at you as a nigger no matter what, no matter what. This fool had the nerves, and it really bummed me out, man. Like, he's caping for this devil. Oh, man, and just like appeasing him. Really? Look, Jared, do you like Chris Rock? He says there's a difference between blacks and niggers. Dude, Jared Taylor doesn't give a fuck about you, dude. He thinks that you are a nigger, no matter what you think. There is no difference to him. He's a freaking white supremacist devil. I have a problem with, from what I've seen with Obsidian, I can't rock with that dude. That dude is on one, man. I was listening to Obsidian when he first started his channel. His content was nothing is nothing of substance. Man, so he's like that back then? Uh-oh, Coon caping from Master. Exactly. It's like, okay, you and see, I don't want to have this get back to him as if I'm capping on him. I'm questioning him. Why would you think somebody like that would see the difference between you and what you call a nigger? They're gonna call you that no matter what. He doesn't fucking care. Jared Taylor thinks that all black people are intelligently inferior. He relies on some old like devil Charles Murray's dumb shit. And has his home propaganda thing and always cherry pick stuff. Even with that debate with Tariq, which I got trolled heavily for, he was just laughing the whole time. He only answered probably a few questions and barely answered those. And then when Tariq kept hitting him, you know. Now, some people would say Tariq basically could have gone at it a different way, but there are certain things that he did not answer, that Jared Taylor did not answer. Oops, sorry about that. Yeah, Obsidian be killing me with those Jared Taylor shows. I'm like, what the fuck? Oh, that wasn't the only time he had him on there? Dude, what the fuck? Why does he have that fool on there a lot? I don't get that. Obsidian is hilarious. He's a coon. He started talking about black women like Sansaray and went down from there. Dude, I don't know Sansaray. I heard she was kind of out there because of Angel, I guess, went through something from her. But that dude is just like, I don't know what the hell is up with that cat, man. Like really? Come on, Obsidian. Really? I have a problem with that. It's just it's the same problem with what that I had with Christine, whatever Carol Zine or whatever her name is. I'm like, shoot, if you date outside of your race, that's your thing. I'm not tripping on you, but don't freaking talk bad about black men. And I can't stand when a black man talks shit about black women too. I hate that, dude. Like that's what I checked out Tommy and I was turned off immediately. For the longest, I didn't even rock with O'Shea because he was on that. He's a bit different now. I'll say that, you guys. He's a lot different than what he was when I first heard him. And I think he's actually trying to, bring a middle ground to like a lot of us in the community too. Sorry. Oops. It's that bell curve shit. Yeah. Charles Murray can go eat sand. He's a white supremacist big time. He has all those think tanks, that's typical, devils funding him too. Even like the Koch brothers, of course, whenever those devils are funding anything, is why. Never drink freaking like them and like the Coors and all those idiots. We think the Caucasoids are fully human. That's the problem. There are different kind of human. Well, I'll tell you this. There's people that don't ride with Jared Taylor that are even white that can't stand him. And if they advocate for that, against that, that's fine with me. You know, he's had him on 3 times. What the fuck does? Why? What is he trying to prove? I cool. You want to hear someone's voice or whatever? I was laughing at what Tariq actually did to Richard Spencer, and his ass ran. That was hilarious. Did you guys ever remember that phone call? Then he had to go once he was about to lay into him. It was hilarious. But Jared Taylor, I mean, oh, why? Why would you have a clown like he? What are you trying to prove, dude? He doesn't give a fuck about you, man. If anything, he thinks that he thinks that you're more inferior than he is. And it's funny he talks about he used the Asian superior argument, but then he had one. I've watched Jared Taylor's channels talking about like, oh well, Asians have no creativity. He's still a white supremacist. I catch all that stuff, man. Man, that's a trip. 3 times, damn. Brother Denumi, is Sansaray the chick with the nose ring? I don't even see her no more, man. Obsidian is a Thomas Sowell regurgitating conservative word. I don't like Thomas Sowell. It's funny, I didn't really know much about him until I got on here. Or actually, I got trolled by some white supremacists and they name dropped him. And I knew a guy actually who's a conservative that asked me what I thought about him. And I'm like, why would I mean, that guy's a devil, dude. Thomas Sowell. Like, it seems like an antisocial weirdo. O'Shea is reinventing himself. I think he's reinventing himself for the good, though. Like I really like a lot of the stuff. I mean, even though he kind of pissed me off when he went off on me for no fucking reason, because I wasn't demanding a damn suggestion. I just asked a fucking question, and he laid in on my ass for no fucking reason at all. But I admire what he's doing. I think he's just really trying to have us come together and talk about these things and not be at each other's throats. I really admire that about him, and that's why I check out the Rumble Royals. It's black conservatives and black people that, from everywhere, not just conservatives. Actually, I'm not a conservative or liberal, but there's a few black conservatives that I actually do admire, especially Mr. Research, who I first found out about from my friends on Thought Crimes. They had him on there. And then I've heard him on O'Shea's channel. I really like what he has to say as a conservative. Um, yeah, that's Richard Spencer. Oh no, excuse me, you guys. I'm embarrassing myself. I don't want to shave my mustache, but man, ah, yeah, Richard Spencer's a trip, man. But I'll tell you this one, me and a friend of mine were talking about why she's saying she likes him, not as in like digs him, but like she thinks he's more interesting because he's honest about like just basically what a lot of cats that are white supremacists think. The question is, why would somebody like Jared Taylor want to be a guest on a third rate on some third rate white show? Wait, what was that? The question is, why would someone like a Jared Taylor want to be a guest on some third rate white tea show if that was the cause? I don't know what you mean by that. Tell me. I'm sorry, Makim. Of course. And you know what? Big OJ, he's not the only smart devil. Let me tell you this. You guys, look at my video on my friend Daryl Lamont Jenkins. I interviewed him. He actually is probably one of the few Antifa that are not covered face wise, and he's black. No, black. I mean, Antifa is not a predominantly black group, but he's one of the ones that are. And he talks. I mean, he was actually doxing a lot of these white supremacists before it not only got popular, but before YouTube or anything like that, before he was even Antifa, he was doing it. And he would always make the connections to all these different organizations and people, and a lot of them are like Jared Taylor. You'd be surprised. I mean, and people were shaking in this. I mean, they hated seeing him around because he was so antagonistic, and he didn't care. He he's a guy on One People's Project, that was his group, but he would be doxing a lot of these white supremacists and putting their information out, because he found legal loopholes to do so. So check out the Daryl Lamont Jenkins interview that I did. He had a lot of gems that he dropped. It was great talking to him. You know, one of the few people that are a part of the whole Antifa thing. I'll be honest with you. There's certain things that I agree with even them about, but a lot of things that I don't. As far as Antifa goes, when it comes to racial defense against racist and racism, I'm all about that. But when it comes to, I'm pro-life. I mean, just to let you guys know that a lot of people don't, and I can't support like abortion because of it. I don't hate women because of it. Most of the people that I know in the pro-life movement are women, including my mom was one of them. And just so I can't rock with Antifa on there. There's a few other things that I don't rock with them on, but as far as like their aggression against racist, I don't, I don't mind that because they're defending people. They're defending a lot of people that don't. I mean, that don't have people advocating for them. But anyways, but yeah, he talks. Yeah, some of these smart, so-called smart devils, um, he's doxed them too. You know, they hate him. It's funny, and he gets a kick out of like just getting their stuff out because he knows like a lot of those cats are totally evil. We think that we could be nice and it will change their nature. Put it like this: I believe that you should be wise as a serpent and harmless as a dove, as it says in the Bible. But I mean, as far as our approach, but when it comes to um, time, you have to trade your cloak for a sword. It doesn't mean that you don't defend yourself. There's a balance. People always have one thing over the other. No, there's a balance. Always has been. Big OJ. Mr. Research is the only non-coon conservative. I think so too. Man, I think so too. Shirley Husar, I like her, but I just can't get behind her Trump supporting stuff, man. I like what she does in the community. I cannot do the Trump supporting thing, dude. I can't. Sorry. When I see ABL around, I gotta check out. He looks more sinister each time. Dude, I think he timed my ass out because I kept just bagging on his ass. I'm like, yeah, ABL stands for another bootlick. That's my own acronym for him. And I think it was either him or Or O'Shea that timed my ass off for like 10 minutes, dude. Because I kept saying, oh, ah, yeah, it is third rate. I don't know. I guess we're more intelligent than he thinks, right? Not unless the homeboy paid him for that shit. I don't know. But I'll tell you this. People got mad at Jason Black for having him. I don't know why they got mad at Jason Black for doing that. No. Jason Black is doing just what he needed to do in interviewing Jared Taylor. And he brought things out. And he even I like the fact that Jason Black, even though I'm sure that people have their issues with him, is going to the source when it comes to talking about this issue. I'm looking forward to seeing Race War because I know he's going to be talking about. He's not just talking to people that are on our side, he's talking to people that are on their side when it comes to this whole white supremacist thing. And he even said that, like, his interview was totally different than it was with Tariq. It's like he almost let everything out on that. So, and I'm sure, I'm curious if you guys are going to the New York showing of that. I don't know if it happened already. It would be cool to know like what it was like, just because they had like they're gonna have an interview with Jared Taylor and like a few other people that, and of course Dr. Kaba is gonna be there, and I'm just curious how like the Q&A is gonna be. Okay, uh, big game. Oh, Big James Orenthal. What's his name? His name is Daryl Lamont Jenkins. Yeah, he's on. I interviewed him on Facebook. Occasionally, I'll interview people on Facebook. You know. Yeah, man, please do. It's kind of third rate-ish, but it's still cool, because of course I'm in my car. We're all laughing and stuff, but he has a bunch of interesting things to say. The first time I found out about him was actually, it was funny. It was on Jesse Lee Peterson's channel, because Jesse Lee Peterson was bummed out about about Daryl's stance and all that, and he was kind of Daryl's really calm. He doesn't get loud or argue with people. And Jesse was just making a bunch of dumb statements, and Daryl was like real calm and collective, and it was a funny interview. It was really funny. You could look that one up too. But Big James said, I'm not ducking with Antifa. They're a liberal white supremacist terrorist. Um, I wouldn't say that. They are liberal, and some people, they have done some, I guess some people would say terroristic activities, but if you know the insides of some of these groups, how could I say this? They were not always, how could I say this? Antifa, people always will talk about, because I know a few other people in that, and then I know certain other um, people that follow these groups. That's how I know about some of the things that the activities of some of these WS groups too. Um, when you know about that stuff and how these cats are going to come off, yeah, to me, I can't help but to sympathize with them on that level, at least when it comes to fighting against these racists. And a lot of Antifa guys pretty much are all about keeping tabs on these groups too. You know, I don't ride with everything that they're about, but when it comes to that, yes. Plus, some of my political beliefs are kind of similar when it comes to some of the anarchist type ideologies. Even though again, I'm not an anarchist, but I have some things that I do side with when it comes to that. Mock him. It's because the black bloc comes to every Antifa rally and starts all the violence. Black blocs are the more militant, and there's some black bloc black bloc anarchists that are affiliated with Antifa, but not all Antifa is black bloc. I'll tell you this: there's another woman by the name of Yvette Falarca. I've talked to her, and she's been in the news because of something that happened at Berkeley. What a lot of people don't know is that the group that she fought, her and the other Antifa guys fought, they're notorious for going on campus and starting shit with people. They do it all the time. So what do? You defend yourself from that. I give Antifa that. I will give that. In groups like, her group is called By Any Means Necessary. They're Antifa affiliates, I guess. BAM. Now, people will call them terrorist groups, and I can't say I agree with everything that Yvette stands for, but that, yes, I'm about that. I'm about defending yourself when it comes to these demons that are trying to invade your space of learning and trying to start shit with people. Hey, they tried to get her up on charges for defending herself and fighting a lot of them. And Antifa is probably one of the only few groups that are doing that way. I'm not saying that people should be violent, but in a defense mechanism, we need that. Antifa is basically liberals fighting for eugenics. They'll fight racism and get mad if a black kid goes to school with their kids. I can't say that because for one, not everybody in Antifa is white. It's predominantly white, but not the two that I know that are in it, they're not white. Yvette's Asian actually. She's Filipina, and Daryl is black. And a lot of them they don't they a lot of them, how could I say this? I can't speak for every one of them because it's like again like I have to go on an individual basis, but the ones that I obviously know or people that advocate for them, they don't roll like that. They're just about like autonomy. Again, there's that word, but they're anarchists, and you'll hear them use that. Autonomy. Now with us, now there are Panther anarchists too that are cool with Antifa and all that as well. More the older guard. I'm not saying the new Black Panther Party, but and some of them it depends. I don't think that they ride with the whole black bloc thing. Like a lot of like Malcolm said, a lot of black bloc they tend to be more militant and violent, you know. But you got to admit, at Charlottesville, a lot of people don't know this, and they need to know about it. Cornel West even said it. No matter how you feel about Cornel West, there were some of these cats in the church that they were like just in. These white supremacists were trying to break into the church, and it was the Antifa guys that fought them guys off. It's crazy, man. The whole situation. It reminds me of like kind of like the Weatherman Underground. Now the Panthers were not associated with that either, but a solidarity. I don't mind solidarity movements when it comes to basically that person advocating for the other in order to get give that person kind of a leverage on power. That's what I don't mind solidarity groups for that. That's just my opinion though. Um, okay. There you go, Jason. I like Shirley too. She's kind of a coonish. The only thing I don't like about Shirley is that she's a Trump supporter. I can't get behind that. And I know why she is, but she's putting her money where her mouth is when it comes to the community. And the thing is, she's working with like, even though she's conservative, she says, hey, if you're liberal or whatever, come down and just let's do the work. That's what I like about Shirley. She gets her hands dirty when it comes to doing the work. But I can't get down with the Trump thing. I just can't. Big OJ said, I donated to Race War. It's going to be beast. Yeah, I want to go see that when it comes out. I donated too. Brother Nubian said, Mr. Research is pretty cool. On I want to be a fly on the wall or in the air when ABL gets his wake up call. I want him and freaking Mr. Research to debate. That would be the ultimate debate. ABL is just being delusional, man, talking about there's no freaking white supremacy and all that. And although I understand the Republican, I mean the conservative way when it comes to that, the reason that I don't ride with him is because he was down with some of those alt-right idiots, dude. Like I have a problem with that. Like him and Brandon, I don't know about Brandon Tatum, but like definitely ABL. I swore I've seen him down with some of those cats, man. Brother Nubian said, I donated to Race War too. I think Antifa does some good work in relations to exposing a lot of white supremacists in our society. Yes, they do. I know that firsthand. That interview that I did with Daryl is one of the reasons I know that. And plus, when it comes to, like I said, I don't have a problem with solidarity movements. You guys might be mad at me for I don't, because I'll tell you this: what other people know um might be might be access to you, or might be an asset to you. So yeah, that's, I understand some of you guys don't feel comfortable with that, especially, but I don't mind that. I don't mind working with even white groups. I have friends that are white that are activists like that. I have Latin friends that are activists like that. I have Asian friends that are activists like that. That's, I don't mind the solidarity movements. ABL is funding by Turning Point USA. What is Turning Point USA? Is that one of those weird think tanks? Wow, tell me about this, you guys. I don't know what that is. I'm sure the Koch brothers are behind that shit too. I want to pimp slap Brandon Tatum. Brother Danubian says, I think he is in my state too, which which would explain it. Coon said, dude, where do you live again? You told me the last time, man. A conservative thing. Yeah, I knew it was one of them freaking devil think tanks. Just spouts out pretty determined. Yeah, uh huh. All that stuff is like freaking conjured, like cauldron shit. No disrespect if you are a witch, but I'll say these guys are wicked witches. Predetermined. Oh, crap. Oh, damn, I forgot you over there, man. Freaking Arizona, homie. Coño, man, I can't do that. It gets too damn hot there, man. Man, that's some heavy stuff, man. Yeah, man, it's so weird how you build an apparatus just to oppress people. And then you refine it with all these different groups or think tanks. They freaking need a think tank so they could think about how they could keep people subjugated. That's evil, dude. In the Bible it says there's wickedness in high places. Shoot, Ephesians 6:10 through 12 talks about that. Now, if you guys don't ride with that, I understand. I'm just saying where I come from with that. That's just evil, dude. Like, how do you just do that? You know? Satanic as hell, dude. Literally. I mean, that's like building like a freaking castle, dude, with all these weird hidden doors. Wow, was it warm rain? Mad freaking cap. I'm looking like Blackula right now with these fangs. Yeah. Wow. That was the quote, man. Big Game or Orenthal James said they literally come up with some different with different ways to make someone else's life worse. Wow, that's true, dude. Mad freaking cap, dude. Like that's just some weird stuff, dude. Like, why do you think of like evil shit like that? I don't. Maybe I just was raised differently. I don't know. Like, my parents raised me to respect everybody and to treat everybody good. I don't get that. I mean, there's books and everything, man. It's supposed to rain. My dad told me it's supposed to rain out here too, but I ain't seen nothing. I gotta get go and move furniture, man. That's what I do for work. That and teach kids music, which is fun. I have all these little people. There, it's cool, man. Little people like playing the drums and stuff. It makes me laugh. I posted one of the little people. I have to get his permission. Like, but I got a bunch of little cats, man. It's cool when people like play music, man. These kids, if you don't play music, that's one thing. But if you do, and you see how like it's just like the universal language for everybody, man. All these little ones, man, they dig it. You know, man. Do you guys ever check out Lashid for you? If you haven't, you should check her stuff out, man. She did some cast today I gotta check out. Um, and I think she was kind of talking about some of the same things that we were. At least I listened to a little bit of it. You know, yeah. Oops. But yeah, guys. Oh, I haven't listened to her for a while. Yeah, for a while I thought she was like chilling, dude. I didn't know where she was, and then I saw her thing on the hip hop thing. That's another thing, man. Like I got so trolled for that freaking video I did about Lord Jamar, man. I'm like, and then some dude had the nerves like you only use Eminem name to get freaking like views. I'm like, I don't care about that. YouTube is not my fucking life, dude. Like I don't give a fuck. Like the only reason I addressed that is because of what he said about Lord Jamar. I like Lashid, but she capes for women regardless of what they do. She's you got to listen to her more, man. Like I don't I don't know if she does that. I mean, I've heard her say things, but she's a traditionalist too, you know, like I don't think that she's cool with like Cynthia G. Not to talk about her bad because of just the way that Cynthia G comes off sometimes, you know. Yeah. So I can't really say that, man. I mean, I'm like this, dude. It might sound like I'm a simp, but I'll tell you this. A lot of us should listen to like a lot of what these women are saying, you know? They should listen to us too, but a lot of them have legit grievances. I don't agree with Cynthia G at all in what she's saying. I think it's kind of messed up. I did a video about that. But it's messed up when dudes just write, the ladies off too. That's not cool, you know? You don't want to do that. Yeah, but she's said things about like just I mean, I don't feel like she really bashes men like that, man. Like to be honest. I mean, like maybe hear her out a little bit more. That's just my opinion, Yeah, Sin is really a lot of and I'm going to probably sound controversial saying this. We got a lot of black folks on here that are on some anti-Christian, anti-Bible tip, you know. That's their choice, but I tell people this. For me personally, yes, I am an Orthodox Christian. Most Americans don't even know what the hell that means. Orthodox Christianity it's not a Christian, it's not a Western Christian religion for first of all, if you want to call it a religion, I don't. Um, but not only am I Orthodox, I'm Ethiopian Orthodox. Now I get people, oh, you follow the Greco-Roman religion. No, I follow the religion that the Romans persecuted for 3,000 years, especially in Africa. Like, I mean, shoot, cats have to fight cats off, dude. And Ethiopians, I mean, we fought the Romans off in so many different ways when it came to even like the Catholics trying to come and establish stuff in our land. We sent them packing. I think it was the Jesuits that did that. Um, but no, dude, like a lot of people have it twisted about Christianity. It had nothing to do with slavery, dude. The real version of that. Even the first West African Christians, like the Congolese, could tell you that. As a matter of fact, um, the first slave revolt actually was led by a woman by the name of Kimpavita of Congo. She was a Christian too, and they burned her as a witch because she had these visions. Cynthia blocked her. Cynthia actually Cynthia blocked her a long time ago because she's a Christian. The radical sister really put me on to her. Well, I think Lashid's a Hebrew Israelite though too, brother. I think she's a Hebrew Israelite from what I know. Um, and they love astrology. I'm like this. I don't have a problem with astrology per se. like the way the Dogons rock that, but like don't freaking like shit on me because I'm down with Christ and all that. And plus people don't even know about like Orthodox Christians over here. I'm probably one of the few outspoken ones on here, even though I don't really make that a platform part. You will see it on my channel. I have excerpts from the Kadasi, but that's not the only thing that I talk about. And some people might even think I'm more rogue. More Orthodox people are chill compared to me. I'm a crazy b-boy punk rocker dude that, you know, this is what I am. That's just, I'm me, but I'm an Orthodox Tawahedo Christian. When sin came for, yeah, I heard about that. Radical sister told me that. I'm like, I didn't know she did that to her. That's messed up. Why did she fucking do that? That woman is one of the sweetest people. Dude, even with our disagreements, like even today, I talked about some things that we disagreed with the whole filth thing. Radical Home Sister was so cool to me. She respectfully disagreed with me, man. And she was still loving to me, man. I love that woman, dude. That's the homie right there. That's my big sister. You know, man, my big sister on YouTube, I'll say, because I love my regular big sister too. My regular big sister's an icon to me. Brother Numian said, when sin came for Radical Home Sister, that's when I bounced. She has fucking zero humility. What did she say, dude? That's not cool. Astrology is the goofiest shit. Well, I mean, if you take it in our concept, our context of Africans, I don't think so. Like the Dogon, from what I know, the little that I know with concerning, and they seem like they handled it well. I don't think that we have to put. Well, maybe I'm thinking astronomy. I always get those things mixed up. Yeah, astrology is funny. I get people. I had some chicks walk away from me because I'm a Scorpio and whatever that is. I don't believe that stuff, but yeah, I've had all kinds of people say things weird like that. Well, Simji hates Israelites. Yeah, I know. I only don't like the arrogant ones. Yeah, like Lisa Cabrera is cool, man. Her, Lashid, um, and the Watchmen cats are pretty cool. Even though I got into a debate with, I don't think it was one of them, but we believe different things within the Bible. But I like when we could respectfully disagree and we don't have to tear each other's head off. That's cool. You can tell me what's about to happen to me this week because I was born. And yeah, I know, right? I don't think the Dogon do that though. But that is hilarious though, man. Brother Danubian. You talking about Lashid being a lady? Now you got that song, She's a Lady. Whoa, 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 she's a lady. Oh, Tom Jones is in my head because of Brother Danubian. That guy's hilarious, dude. He's got to be like 80 years old and still like has like shows and stuff with one hair sticking out of his chest. I think he has like plastic surgery too. I don't know, dude. That's hilarious. Oh man. Mad freaking Cap, man. Yeah, she is, man. She is. She totally is, man. Man, I dig her, man. That woman, like, and I think she, a lot of people probably treat her bad. Like, I didn't know that sin had come for her. Somebody else came for her too. Someone told me that somebody else did her wrong like that. Yeah, she's awesome, man. I relate to her a lot. Sis Radical Home Sis used to be a punk rocker too back in the day. I'm still a punk rocker. I don't care what anyone says. I know people are like, why are you on? Hey, I listen to that kind of music. That's not the only music I listen to. But yeah. Yeah, I had no idea that she did that though. Like, I'm glad I didn't hear it. Like that's not cool. I like Sister Audrey, but something I noticed is that a lot of conscious women used to date white dudes. Again, well, you know how I feel. As long as they're cool, if they weren't, oh well, And she doesn't date. I mean, she's consciously like not dating any white people anymore. That's what she told me. For me, it's like I'm kind of indifferent to it, unless the person's an asshole, like literally, and is not race sensitive when it comes to stuff like that. But shoot, people come from all different backgrounds, man. You know, if you got with a chick, that say for example, she probably dated somebody white before. I don't, as long as you dig her, like, why should it matter? I was with a Becky when I was freaking 20, and well, shoot, like if she didn't dig you, I mean, if she didn't respect you, forget her. That's the thing that cracks me up. I've heard this story before too, and I just kind of laugh. I've heard black dudes, oh man, like, you know, it's better with whites and all. Dude, no. Anybody can be a fucking crazy person, dude. And anything could happen, really. You know? Don't put that on a race thing. I'm talking to the people that think that it's better on the other side because it's white. That's just ridiculous to me, man. Like the person for who they are and not because of what they are. If that person's anybody could be a freaking crazy person or an evil person. Don't just think sisters are. Don't just think brothers are. Anyone could be that way. Crazy. We didn't have interspecies relationships. So okay. Man, I can't. You got that song in my head, bro. Like, she's a lady. What you did, brother Danubian? White women are nicer up front, but that's because they're going along for the con. Shoot. I could understand the not trusting them, you know, because of just things that have happened. But again, I'm like this. Hey, like make sure that that person digs you and that they're gonna bat for you. And to be honest, I actually know a white woman like that. Not that I'm not dating her, like, and she has a black husband, but I've worked with her. She pretty much seems like she's a person that would bat for us. And I've seen her in the communities that I've worked with do that. So I'm cool. Tom Jones cracks me up, dude. He You know what's funny about him? There's only two people that I've heard. I don't mean to sound crass with you guys, but there's two people that I heard that women will throw their underwear at. Sorry for all the females that are here. Frankie Beverly and Tom Jones. I don't know, and people don't care how old they are either. It's just like, man, what is it? What is the thing with the ladies in those two men? And the funny thing, Tom Jones doesn't even sound like he sings. He's like from Wales or England or something like that. He's like, she's a lady. Oh, hey, you know what? Thank you for this. Like, what the heck? That stuff is hilarious, man. Oh shit. White women will do. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. White women will do you like Tim Duncan's wife did. Yeah, what happened, man? Oh shit. She cheated on him, then waited until before he retired for that. That is fucked up, man. Shoot, that's not cool. Man, gotta make sure that you got the right chick, man. You know? That's what oh Yvette was Yvonne, man. I could understand why. See, that's what makes that MGTOW movement, man, because a lot of them will get pissed about that. They don't want nothing to do with women, period, because of that. But I'm like, man, I like women, dude. I cannot, like, like Like, man, I gotta have the ladies in my life. I have a lot of female friends, actually. It's funny. No, I am not gay. I'm not simp either, and I'm not hating on gay people either. But yeah, let me see. To love by anyone. I don't know why his voice makes me laugh, dude. Like, the music be kicking it though, man. They got that old school step R&B thing going. Oh yeah, Ronald Isley is another one too. Ronald, those dudes, man, those guys are players, man. They got that stuff rolling, man. Those are gangsters. Oh man, shoot. I've been on this music thing lately too. I've had the honor of talking with the guys from Thought Crimes and Reg's the Bad Guy, and talking about like black people in rock and roll. That's like a subject that I'm always highlighting because I feel like it's not highlighted enough. I've written about it. I have people on my page and all that, but I'm trying to bring it to video, so occasionally you'll see me do stuff on that too. You know, man. Dude, I want to thank you guys for rocking with me, man. You guys are awesome. How many times do you have? Oh, how many likes do you have? It says 9 are watching. Yeah, I have 6 likes. I appreciate that, y'all. Like seriously, You guys are in the closet corner of YouTube and audio discourse. That's my commercial. I really appreciate y'all, man. Seriously, dude. And despite me like fighting with my mustache, looking like midget Kimbo as Vegas MGTOW would say, or or the Black Cheshire Cat. Ah, yes, I just subscribed. Have a good night, player. Thank you, brother. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Yes, hit the like buttons. Man, I wish I could recommend you guys to Brittany's channel too, man. But I can't remember that chick's last name. She's a cool YouTuber. She's, another black YouTuber. She's got that New York accent like mad. Cute too. Cracks me up. Man. Man, this tweaker is riding that bike. I swear this tweaker is riding his bike like an MF, dude. Yo, God bless you guys. I'm out like a freaking light bulb because I gotta get up and go to work too. All right, man. Peace. Besame wo men peska du sahadu am like I mean exiaber yek barkachu. I've seen Big Game on other channels, man. I'm glad that he's totally subscribed to me. That's cool. I'm glad that Brother Nubian always gives me a shout out every time he sees me on other channels. And it's cool to see Rosalind and Makim. Who else was on here? Um, Shout outs to you guys. And Hood Mistress. Right on, man. I really appreciate y'all. Like, seriously, like. Let everybody say their good nights to each other. From the east to the west, rocking with the best. You guys rock, of course. There was a kid in my class that used to do that, and I just bust up laughing. He's like, oh man, I'm pulling my beard. Anyways, my brother is in Chatsworth. How far? Oh, homie, Chatsworth is hella far, dude. That's like an hour and probably 15 minutes, man. Hey man, remember? I think you told me that the last time. But the funny thing about Chatsworth, you know why I'm always laughing at that? The capital of. Oh shoot, man! You guys be safe then, all right? Thank you guys for checking it out. Peace. God bless. Oh, I won't say it. You know what it is. Oh yeah. Good morning over there, Rosie. Peace. I'm gonna see you guys, man. I'm gonna get my roll on like deodorant. Ah. God bless.